All right, we are getting right into it. No intro, no music. We are
What happened to
live.
the music, man?
No, we're not doing music. It's a post-game live reaction, everybody. No music. Seminole
Well, I'm
Sideline
using my sign.
365. We are live post-game reaction. Florida State takes down the Sooners in a a too close for comfort game. 35-32, Florida State wins in Orlando in the Cheez-It Bowl. We saw Mike Norvell get the Cheez-It Gatorade bath there at the end there, which I think he was excited about. Above winning the game, William Fire Fuller ASAP.
Fire Fuller. We're going to talk about that. Hang in there, William. That's got to come up. But
go Knowles.
But we got to enjoy the moment, right?
Yes. So yeah.
Am I yelling?
Most of all, Florida State won. Florida State wins the game. That's 10 wins. You get 10 wins. You get the check mark there. Mike Norvell gets his 10-win season. You know, let's be happy about that, right? The climb continues. You got your double-digit winning season, but it was harder. It was a lot harder than it should have been, right? I don't think you're going to come away from that game happy at all. I'm not going to come away happy from that game at all because
you got to be happy we won the damn game.
I just said I'm happy we got 10 wins.
Okay.
But that game was a lot closer with a very understaffed Oklahoma team. And a lot of the same problems we've had all season showed up today.
But let's focus. KB, let's just take a minute. Where the hell's our names? They usually show up there. I guess they know I'm the old man. Listen, let's focus on the moment. Let's take the victory. Focus on this team not quitting. They never quit in this game, okay? And there are reasons to quit. We'll get to some of those. We'll get to some of those tonight and other nights. But we won the damn game. I'm exhausted. I am mentally exhausted. Now, my plan today was to be at the game. It didn't happen. I ended up watching the game here, and I'm thankful to God that I watched it here because I might have had a heart attack there. First of all, I might have had a heart attack there and not ever made it back out of Orlando. This game was incredible. I mean, if you're a football fan and you didn't care who won the damn game, this is one of the classics you put in the vault. This is an objective game where people look at it and say, God, that was really a good football game. But we do have a bias. We are unfiltered, raw, and no sugar. I mean, Mike Norvell, staff, the football team, all the guys that opted in to play, they played their asses off, and they brought home the victory, something they will always have the legacy to live with when they bring this team back some 20 years from now.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think this is a historic win for Florida State.
No, but
6-6. So let's not overblow this. This isn't a historic win.
It is a big win for this program that's still rebuilding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a win, but let's not say this is a game we're going to remember for the next 25 years. It's a
but the season is the season. This is a big stepping stone, or should be a big stepping stone. Now, that's not to say that there's some potholes between those stepping stones that have to be worked out. And I feel like Jimbo Fisher here. I got notes up the gazoo.
All right. Well, we can't just have you talking all night because people fall asleep.
Why not?
But
I'm not gonna fall asleep.
Let's go through some of the comments here. B-Ray, I think, if anyone caught our preview show, I thought we were pretty realistic from most of the shows about what we expect from this game. I said, forthright that Dylan Gabriel is probably one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks we face all year, and he showed it tonight. He threw for over 200 yards, very accurate with the ball for the most part, especially with some guys missing. But he hit Mims. I said they were going to test our defensive backs, and he did. He hit Mims on a couple of big balls down the sideline, incredible catches. But
we can't blame it on the defensive backs when up front, I don't think we're.
Can I finish my point here? Can I just finish?
Yeah,
my point?
I
said he was
just
going to test our DBs, and he did. But a lot of that was because we couldn't get 4-man pressure without bringing linebackers or guys from the secondary. Our front 4 could not sack the quarterback.
Where the hell was Lovett? Was he even in the game?
He was out, I believe. I think he was out.
Did he? What do you mean out? Did he opt out? Did he get injured out? Was he on a set play? I didn't even hear his name called one time. I mean, so
I think he was.
I'm tired of.
I don't know his status. I don't know his status.
I'm just a little irritated about. We keep talking about Fabian Lovett. Fabian Lovett did not do much this season. Okay, he is not ready to go to the NFL, and if he does, he's going to be disappointed in which round he goes in. He needs to come back to this team and have a good, solid season. I expect Fabian Lovett to be back on this team in 2023.
Well, and that's why you're bringing in guys like Darrell Williams and Braden. You're bringing in defensive linemen because we need a front four that can get to the quarterback without secondary assistance. And you had to bring secondary assistance against a thin Oklahoma line.
Well, this is what I mean.
We struggled with stopping the run. The run, we knew this was a run-first team. They were missing 3 offensive linemen. Well, another one got hurt. They're missing 2 starters, and they still ran the ball down our throats. And that's the part that's so disappointing to me.
They had 2 backs over 100 yards, and they were both freshmen.
And that's the scary part. Imagine if Eric Gray would have played this game. What would have happened then?
It's scary. Yeah.
With one of the top running backs in the country, what if he plays this game? And what happens this team isn't built to beat Clemson yet. And that's the reason, is because we don't have a consistent run-stopping defense. And I do think that's why you went to the portal and you brought in a tier of defensive linemen. But is that still enough? Do we need to get even more of them?
I said that last night.
Yeah.
I said that last night's show. This defensive line is not an elite defensive line. It just isn't. He didn't dress. That's very interesting. Yeah. That is very interesting.
Knox says he opted out.
I said that. Yeah. I said, who will opt out? And there it is. He opted out. Okay. That is very.
He's not coming back, old man.
Well, he's not coming back now. He opted out, but he may still be disappointed. He'll be, McMillan, I agree with you there, Bill. William McMillan, I agree with you. He's going to be down the road. He was not a factor on this team this year. Okay, and we're going to get everybody's comments up. If you send in a comment, we're going to put it up here. Unless
sorry if I missed some guys. I'll try to go back.
We'll get you back up. Lovett is not ready yet. Totally agree with Mr. McMillan there. Totally agree. Thanks for joining us here. And we want your comments in here. You have a chance to put your comments up here. But he was not a factor. This defensive line needs help. I don't know if we have enough in the portal coming in. We have some young guys up front that got a lot of playing time, but it's not an elite line this year. And I'm not sure what it's going to be next fall 2023.
Well, we have an idea of they've brought in 2 good transfers. They're bringing in 2 good transfers.
I know, but those guys haven't proven anything here yet. They haven't proven anything.
Obviously, because they haven't played on the team yet, but they have. They made decent impacts.
No, they really haven't had that big impact on the teams they were on. Okay?
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet what they're going to be. We don't know. Who is it? Jackson. Jackson at Miami.
Haven't played before.
No, Jackson at Miami, and then the transfer from FCS, right?
Yeah. No, the guy from Western Michigan is not FCS, so I don't know what. Braden's not FCS. He's at Western Michigan. And then you have Darrell Williams from
but it's
Miami.
not. Western Michigan is not a Power 5 program.
Neither was it's not FCS.
It's my
point. It's not like he's playing D2 competition.
It's all right. We don't have to spend it. We'll spend more time on
it. They're not addressing these holes. They got 2 of the top defensive linemen in the country that were available.
Yeah. First of all, I thought it's very interesting. Lovett didn't dress, but let's not spend time on that. This defense in the first half was got shredded. Is that a fair comment?
They got shredded all night like they did all season.
Okay, yeah. And what was the total offense? They had Oklahoma had the rush game up through the middle, through the tackles and guards. Horrible.
They ran 55 yards rushing the ball tonight, and luckily. And we can get to the fourth quarter drive there at the end, but 253 yards of rushing offense is unacceptable. I mean, I think like the comps are saying, you got to go back and like T. Murray's comment says, you have a young defensive line potential, but no experience this offseason is critical in developing them. Totally agree. Odell's got to get to work there, especially with the transfers bringing in. But 253 yards on 60 attempts, 3 touchdowns. I mean, you had to have known this was going to be Oklahoma's game plan. But even with the guys that they had out, they're able to dictate their offense against you. I mean, that's unacceptable. You had a month to prepare for this, and you still couldn't. You still couldn't script against it defensively.
Yeah,
it's kind of unacceptable. And I think there were some effort plays there too. Here and there, you weren't able to wrap up. You weren't able to close the gap on these guys on the edge. I think there was a little bit of effort that I wasn't satisfied with. I mean, there were a few guys. DJ Lundy, I think, was flying to the ball. He made some good stops. I think Jamie Robinson, that guy played lights out.
Jamie Robinson played an excellent game.
And that's a guy
defense.
who is a top
round defense. Yeah.
Jamie Robinson is a top 2-round player.
Well,
he gave us all tonight. That guy was playing through injuries. That guy finishes tackles. I give my hats off to the guy for playing tonight when he obviously did not have to.
I think the problem, I think Jamie Robinson did. I confirm everything you said about Jamie Robinson. He's had a great year, put a lot on tape tonight. He's a little undersized for a safety. Okay. He's a little undersized, but he's an aggressive guy. He's a tough guy, and he makes the tackles, but you can see it's kind of tough on some of these bigger backs and big receivers. He's a little undersized, but I think he's ready to go. I think he'll go. I don't think he's coming back, and I don't think there's big guessing there. Robert, what's Robert Laster saying?
Robert, he's talking about, he doesn't understand how our D-line's getting blown off the ball, which I agree with. Just the front four was not able to create consistent pressure. But then Verse, he wasn't dominating the one-on-one matchups when he had them. He did sack at the end, which is great. Like I said, Verse, he's on and off. Sometimes he can make the plays, but then on these one-on-one matchups where you're going against a freshman or a backup, he doesn't get there. It's like sometimes he like flashes, and then other times he goes silent for a while. I still don't understand.
Well, you have to understand he's 1 year removed from FCS.
Yeah.
Okay, and everybody, all the analysts and the talking heads, they've got him as a first or second round pick. I don't think he's ready for that, to be honest. I just don't think. I think if he comes back, I don't think he did anything special tonight. I don't think he did anything special tonight that's going to light up the NFL. He got the big sack at the end that ended the game, and that was great for us, and that was great for FSU, and that was great for this team. But it didn't do much to project him as a dominating edge rusher, defensive end that can play full-time on the defensive end.
And there was that one play, I think it was in the third quarter, when he was one-on-one on the edge against that freshman running back, and he got stiff-armed. Like he had a one-on-one play on the edge. Yeah. I think it was the third quarter to stop the running back in the backfield. He got stiff-armed away, and the guy broke loose for 5 or 6 yards. And those are the plays in the NFL you got to make. If that's your job on the edge, and that's the type of play you want to be.
I don't want the fans out there to think we're being negative here tonight. If you do, go to another channel. I mean, this is raw and unfiltered. It's our feelings of what's going on. And you know what? If we would have lost by 3 points, I guarantee the fans would be saying, yeah. Okay, but we've celebrated up front, and we're going to celebrate this season, and we're going to celebrate this win. But there are this Oklahoma team. Let's make sure everybody understands. They were down. How many players you said last night? 20?
They had 20 opt-outs total across.
How many? Why would they have 20 guys opting out? They got 20 guys either going into the portal or going to the NFL?
It's a mixture.
Holy shit. That's a lot of players.
And now, those aren't all starters. That's not to say those are all starters. Right?
Well, what the hell would a guy opt out for then?
Transferred somewhere. Like if he's a backup, he may be transferred to a lower level. That's
holy shit.
It's not all starters. But I think the biggest thing was we thought coming into this game, with their offensive line being 2 starters going to the NFL, that we would be able to get to them. And we did drive 6 or 7 sacks. So that is but most of that was off the pressure from the defensive backs or from the linebackers.
From blitz packages.
What I just said. So it wasn't just based on rushing 4 down and getting to them. It was based off of secondary pressure. Gabriel surprised me with his running ability to break free from the pocket. I
don't think they expected that.
Well, that's one thing we've seen this year too is guys breaking contain. We can't get our front four just can't break down the pocket and sack enough. Guy breaks contain and he's running loose, whether it's Gabriel or other quarterbacks we face. We saw that way too often.
Hypnotic Gabriel, exactly. A Dagby, I give the D
a pass in the first quarter. They needed time to study and respond.
I don't give him I don't.
I mean,
I don't give him Dagby. I don't give him a pass in the first quarter. In the first quarter, the first possession OU had, they scored a touchdown. Okay,
and Dagby, they could run that wheel throughout the game. The only reason they couldn't on that last drive is because we turned the clock down. And I would say Venables' timeout strategy was probably worse than Jimbo Fisher's. Like the Venables was calling timeouts like it was a basketball game, right? Like the commentator said, he was calling timeouts just to stop momentum. But that burned them at the end when they only had one left, or they had 0 left on that final drive, and then they had to finally pass the ball. They had to pump it down.
The first three possessions OU had in the first half scored touchdowns. They got 2 touchdowns. So how do we give them a pass at Dagby in the first quarter? I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe pass. Yeah, I don't see it.
But I agree with Murray and what everyone else is saying is that Jamie earned his money tonight, which
I think so. I just think he's a little undersized.
But I think he needs to go. I hope, like, if he comes back, I'll love it if he comes back because I think he's the only above average to elite DB we have right now. But guys like Green showed up.
Ronaldo
Green, Ronaldo Green played okay tonight. I think he had some flashes here and there. No DBs for the most part didn't get. They were in position, right? The DBs were in position to make plays. They just didn't make them often enough, right? I think that's the issue I had. That they were in the right position on especially those big plays that Mims had. They were right there. They just couldn't get turned around to make the big play.
And Green came back in the game, right? I mean, he came after he was injured there a little bit. I think he had a cramp. He came back in. I don't think it was the interior. B. Riley. Nice to see you again, B. Riley.
Interior D-line is fine. The Miami transfer and Fisk are upgrades. Briggs and Farmer will benefit from the offseason. Also, and we have a decent Tafisa is going to be – they think he's going to be a big upgrade there.
Need to chill on the D-line. I don't know, B. Riley. I'm not going to chill on the –
we just haven't run up the gun against us. It's just so depressing when you see a team just run.
Especially when Oklahoma was depleted in their O-line, B. Riley. I don't understand how we can just back off and say, hey, yeah, the D-line played great. That's not what the numbers show, and that's not the game that I saw. Yeah. That's not the game I saw.
But B-Riley, I do agree that I think there's reinforcements on the way, like I've been saying with the transfers, and you just said, B-Riley, with the transfers. And I do think that they do have some young talent that's going to take the offseason to develop. The Farmer, like you said, is going to get better. Briggs is going to get better. These guys are going to develop. They're younger. They're going to get better, and I believe they will take the next step. So I do, like you said, I think this unit should get better over time. And reality music entertainment. Yeah, I believe Jamie. I love the way he plays.
Yeah,
he plays with. He was talking so much on the field tonight. Like he's
a tough guy. He's a tough guy.
He finishes every tackle.
He's like a Jamin. He's like Ramsey.
Yeah, he reminds me of that type. Like he plays with emotion, raw emotion. And I love it. And he's a leader. He calls it out on the field. And he played through those injuries tonight like it was his final game. And I think it was probably his final game. So I love it.
And I think you know what? If there's one guy on this team that should go, it should be Jamie Robinson.
100%.
He's earned it. He's put it on tape, and safety. I think he's going to make a roster. A Dagby. I think Jamie will make a roster.
Yes, he's going to make a roster.
No, I'm just saying because even though he's a little undersized, he's a tough guy, and He'll make it on special teams if nothing else. Okay.
I think he's going to make it. I think.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I think it'll be fine.
Why is everybody picking on me tonight? Everybody's picking on me.
Hey, Doc, I do think we'll see. I think we have a softer schedule next year, but I think that's to be determined if we'll be
softer than what we had this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. B. Riley, Verse only has one move. That's true. And that's his issue. He has the NFL to take a potential. They can coach diversity on the rush as well as we can. Yeah, that's true. And that's the thing. Do we have NIL money that says, okay, stay with Florida State, develop here, have more fun in college, and go to the NFL and potentially get passed over and not get attention? So I think that's really the debate with Verse is that can we have a competitive NIL deal for him where you can stay in college, have fun, get developed here, and have that college experience versus taking the leap at the NFL, maybe get a second round pick, get some money up front, and then potentially get lapped over and just get forgotten on the roster somewhere if he doesn't immediately shine. I think that's a good point, B. Riley. I think you got to bet on yourself if you go to the NFL because it's not for long. Because if you don't immediately shine, some of these staffs will take, if you don't develop quickly enough for them, they'll forget about you and they'll cut you.
Oh, you're gone.
Yeah.
If you're not productive, you're now entering, when you enter the NFL, you're entering
that's a great point. Yeah, just like I was saying, you brought it up right there. Does he want to learn to start at FSU or go pro and develop as a backup? That's a great point, B. Riley. Yep.
And maybe back up for a few years and then gone.
Yep.
I mean, this happens. This is realistic. I wish he would call up Jermaine Johnson. I really do. Yep. Call up Jermaine Johnson and say, what has your experience been? And what do you think? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get, that's the best phone call he could make.
Rock Frazier says Lovett played overweight this season, in my opinion. That's an interesting take. I hadn't.
What does that mean? Lovett played overweighted this season. What does that mean?
He wasn't in shape. He wasn't in his ideal weight to play interior this season.
I think when
fill that A gap more and not be able to push the pocket as much, and so that's interesting. I hadn't heard that this season. So
that's a good point. I think after he got injured, he just, that was it. And all we do is talk about Lovett and Verse. There are other guys on his team, but Lovett to me did not stand out in my mind when I think about this team this year.
And RB, and that's what we're counting on, RB, is that these new D tackles will be able to collapse the pocket from the interior. Because right now our interior D line is set up to fill the gaps, right? They're supposed to be good at filling the gaps and taking on double teams.
And just standing there.
And basically stand there, which you could debate whether they're doing a good job of that right now or not.
Well,
we're bringing these new guys in to be able to push the pocket back, to your point. So hopefully these guys like Fisk and Darryl can come in and push that pocket backwards and put more pressure on that line so that when those edges collapse, that's where you get those sacks just from 4 up front. So I agree. That's the goal, right?
I tried to watch Robert Cooper a lot, and Coop. Everybody loves Coop, and I love Coop, even though I didn't get a chance to race against him in Norvell. However, Coop, when he comes to the front, he takes about 2 steps, and that's where it ends. Maybe that's his role. I don't know, but he's not pushing that center guard back into the quarterback's face so the DNs and the edges can close that hole. So best of luck to Coop. He'll probably get signed as a free agent because they bring a lot of guys into camp for the linemen, and he'll get an opportunity, but he's probably going to be an undrafted free agent. He's stayed with this program. He's been very loyal to this program, and we wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, and Dagby says Venables ran through timeouts like arcade tokens. Yeah, and I think it screwed him at the end. He
screwed him at the end.
He had the timeout strategy like Jimbo used to have, so I agree with you.
Yeah, but that's a good point by Dagby. When you don't have those timeouts, in fact, when turn time went down, that saved him a timeout, and we hope that turn time will be okay.
Yeah, that was a great moment. It was a horrible moment for him.
And they said it was a bad injury on film. They wouldn't show it again. I didn't see it. He get rolled up.
It's a horrible injury. But I think the moment where the whole team basically ran on the field to go to the cart was amazing.
It was a highlight.
Yeah,
that was a highlight of this team rallying around. And they should take that still picture, blow it up, and put it up in the locker room. That's the family. That's the Knowles family. And that family brought together the win tonight. Yeah, that's what that did. They believed in each other.
Yeah, okay. It's like game in context, because the bowl game doesn't really matter in context. That kid's health is what matters, and that team rallying behind him, those trenches he's made is what really matters. But now we hope him the best.
What else you got on defense before we switch over?
Knox, you had the more talented team. We found the will win.
I don't think they're more. No, I don't think they're more talented.
I said this on paper, from tail to head, they have a more talented roster.
With 20 guys out,
with talent, they do have a more talented roster. But we just been
not with 20 guys out, KB.
Okay, well, we can debate that.
Our fan base has to understand something here. They have to understand something here. They had 20 guys out for one reason or more. Okay, they had a running back, senior running back, 1,300 yards, one of the leaders in the country this year, who's going to the NFL. He opted out. I mean,
I think fans know how many players they have.
I think we had the more talented team. We brought all our guys to play. And we struggled to get through this game. That's the bottom line, the way I saw it.
I think we're overrating.
And I'm happy.
I think we're overrating as fans how good Florida State is, though. I think this is a good
little bit
of how far we need to go. This team still has a long way to develop. This is
we got 1 year to get there, though.
This is an average to an above average team right now, and this is a good reality check for Florida State fans because, like you said, Oklahoma is a 6-6 team. They're a couple of points away from being probably an 8.
They lost 4 games now by 3 points in each game.
And to B. Riley's point, they do have a talented roster. A lot of players are missing, but those freshman running backs, those guys are going to run for some yards next season. I can guarantee you that. Dylan Gabriel's a top 20 quarterback. His numbers are very.
He looked really good. He looked really good
from Travis in terms of the talent.
And Mims looked good. So Mims looked really good.
What I'm saying is that Invincibles can scheme up pretty well. So what I'm saying is that to compete for the ACC titles next year, this team needs to take a big leap forward next year. Offensive line wise, receiver wise, running back wise, linebacker wise, defensive back wise, defensive line wise. We have to take a leap if we want to compete with Clemson next year. Even though they've taken a little bit of a step back, we have to take a step forward. We have to take what we've learned from this game. And we have to plug those holes, or we are not winning an ACC championship.
Well, that step has to be taken forward on the defensive side, and I don't. And let's finish up our defense by saying this. I don't know if Adam Fuller, and we're addressing that now.
Yeah.
With Adam Fuller, I don't know if he's the guy. I really don't. They've scored a lot of points on his defense. Okay. They've scored a lot of points. I don't know if we can win it all with Adam Fuller. I think we're going to have to be outscoring people like TCU does. TCU doesn't have a good defense. They're in the playoffs, but they give up a lot of points. You're going to lose games. I don't think we can continue to outscore people. We're going to have a good offense next year, but that defense can't perform like they did tonight against a weakened Oklahoma team. Or we won't get to the ACC championship game.
Yeah, and like you said, I feel like Adam Fuller's defenses only are good when he blitzes, and sometimes I don't feel like he blitzes enough. And like I said, I don't know if that's on him or he.
Just it's on him. It's on him. Who do you think calls the damn blitzes?
I just don't know if he's got the right talent yet. I do think there's a talent deficiency he's inherited.
Whose job is it to recruit talent? Whose job is it to recruit talent?
It's the full staff. It's every staff on the
his side. And his assistants.
Okay, he doesn't hire all these.
And Norvell.
So it falls on Norvell too. Okay. F55 says Fuller's defenses rely on backfield calling the adjustments so it can get a play off for the secondary mixed adjustments that could beat his scheme. I think that's a great comment, F55. And like I said, if Fuller's the guy or not, I don't want to talk about him too much because I don't see any upcoming changes to the staff at all. I expect 0 changes unless the coach leaves, which I don't expect that either.
Fuller's not going to be replaced.
But I don't expect any major changes to the staff based on the results this year. So we kind of have to deal with him and hope he gets better talent into that, which we said last show. I do think we need to bring in a couple of defensive backs. So hopefully get this kid from UVA. Hopefully we can lock him down because he's a playmaker. Cypress, I think his name is, from UVA. But I think we need a couple more DBs on to bring in depth and just all overall talent in that room.
Who would you rather have, 2 defensive backs or 2 interior linemen?
We already have 2 interior linemen.
I mean, 2 more.
I'll take 2 more.
I mean, 2 more. They need at least one more interior lineman.
Well, I take
at least one there and 1 DB, and that's it on that side because most of those guys are coming back, and I think we have some talent in the defensive secondary. I do. I think there's some good young talent there.
Why can't we stop Old Man K.B? I don't know. I think that's always been that Florida State issue.
I think they were surprised by Dylan Gabriel. I think he surprised them.
And he didn't run for that many yards when you take in sack. I think that.
He had over 100 yards. You took the sacks away. He went back. At one point, he was over 100 yards.
I don't think that's true.
That is true. I saw it on TV, so it must be true.
I don't think that's true. But he was able to escape. Like I said, Florida State always seemed to struggle with mobile quarterbacks. And Sometimes I don't really know what it is. I'm not a defensive guru, but it just like you said, Orby, they do seem to struggle.
But he had some big chunk runs. You saw those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. I definitely saw that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and B. Riley, he got ahead of me, but like he said to F55, we need a guy like Cypress with the kind of experience to come up.
Is Cypress a safety? Is he a safety?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the safety at UVA. So I totally agree with you, B. Riley. We need that kid to come in and plug and play for what we're going to lose in Jamie. Because like you said, I like everyone saying in the chat, I believe Jamie's gone. But if you somehow keep Jamie, which I don't think I think the injury scared him probably and said, okay,
I'm done.
I could have had a life-altering injury tonight.
Yeah,
and thank God I didn't. I need to take my money and go, which I do not blame him for. So I think, and I think that's going to help you probably with getting Cypress. Jamie declares, you get Cypress, and he's like, I got a starting spot now. Let's go. So he's going to get his money. He'll be a top 2 round draft pick. Cypress says, okay, I can make my money at Florida State. You get him plug and play in the ACC.
Coach needs guys that are going to opt out now for the draft to make that admission, because it's going to hurt recruiting if we
at certain positions you do. At certain positions.
Yeah.
Where at certain positions you don't want them to declare because it could hurt you.
Here's Alex Walker. Nose played like they were off for a month. Yeah. Well, Oklahoma was off for a month too, Alex. They were off for a month too. Plus, they were 20 guys short.
They played super motivated. They played like
I thought at least in the first half they were more aggressive.
Yes.
Did you see that play where one of their guys, offensive lineman or something, blocked our guy all the way through the bench area?
No, I agree. And I think that's a mixture of, like you said.
But what I'm saying, that should have been a penalty. Number one, I tweeted it. I've never seen a guy knock another football player that far into almost towards the stands and not get called.
Play back, push back. Push back. That's
I agree.
I think there was times in this game when Florida State kind of was checked out. At times it looked like players were like there was one play on the sideline where the guy just like tried to shoulder tackle him out of the sidelines and everyone stopped and the guy whiffed it and the guy went wrong sideline.
Yeah, that was
15 yards.
That was Stoops.
Yeah, exactly. They missed him. They tried to shoulder tackle him.
He cut it back. He cut it back. Yeah, you can't stop.
And everyone's just watching. Yeah. Everyone's just watching the play. I'm like,
he could have gone all the way for a touchdown.
And I'm like, this is the Florida State team that's played all year. This isn't how we've played. And it just looked like guys were just kind of just.
Well, they made the assumption he was running out of bounds.
I know that.
They didn't want to get a penalty, so they let up some.
No.
That's what they did.
The initial tackle, why is he tackling with the shoulder? You tackle with your arms. You don't tackle with your shoulder. So it was a lazy tackle. It was a lazy tackle. And that's not how they played all season.
Yeah,
and so there was, and Tom Hale, FSU was lucky as hell to get the W, 9.5 point favorites. They were starters out. OU did shoot themselves in the foot a couple of times, some penalties. So I do agree. Florida State did get lucky in some calls and some spots, but overall you won the game. So a win's a win. You won the game. You found a way to finish the game.
We didn't struggle to get through this game, says B. Riley. We overcame some untimely errors and had the exact same D issues we've had all season. Played exactly like we should have, and OU outplayed expectations. Not bad, B. Riley. That's not a bad. That's not a bad summary. I'm going to say that to B. Riley. That's not a bad summary.
So I'll say to B. Riley then. Are we, to your point, like you said, I think we saw with Florida State's, we saw FSU issues that we struggled with all season. We had some bad drops. Johnny Wilson dropped a go-to.
Whoa, wait till we get to the offensive side.
Okay, I'm just saying. We saw a lot of the issues, to his point, that we've seen all season. Big drops, bad offensive interior defensive line play, guys getting us up the middle. We saw a lot of error, not able to close games, offense, defense not being on the same page throughout the game. So when we're scoring, defense isn't holding, stuff like that. So I agree with you there. But at the same time, should we be struggling to close out a 6-6 ball club? Or is that just saying that either, like you said, Oklahoma outplayed themselves to the point where they took us to the brink? Or is Florida State like I said, our expectations need to be lowered a little bit? Are we not really a 10-3 team? Like, are we overthinking our expectations for next season, right? Like, are we?
I think so. I think you hit it, KB, that maybe this fan base, it doesn't really look at the real facts of what's going on, okay? And that B. Riley is saying we're kind of an average, like you said, KB, an average to above average football team. I still have great concerns about the interior lines on both sides of the ball. I mean, I really do. And we're going to move over to the offensive side of this game in just a second. But I do think that if this team has to play next year, if we're going to get in these, we're going to lose a lot of players after next season, after 2023. And it's going to be, so next year is a big year to make that run. Let's go to the offensive side.
Yeah, and last point on this, and to be Riley's point, what I said is that Oklahoma does, from top to bottom, have a better roster of talent in terms of they've had better recruiting classes the last 4 years. So they do have a better depth of talent. Even with 20 guys out, they do have a better depth of talent. So that's where we could go a long tangent on. You have to build high school classes because if you get in a position like this, high school depth, development-wise, does pay off versus just going to the portal.
You know what? You know what's very interesting? And this has gone on for years in college football, and it's been a problem for Florida State. If you notice that Oklahoma, I wonder how many offensive linemen they have on their roster from the state of Florida. I'll bet you none, because it is offensive linemen aren't grown in Florida too much. These kids they're getting from the Midwest, they get a lot of them from Texas. Okay. A lot of people, and I'm not going to go down their roster, but Oklahoma State, a lot of guys who don't get on the Texas clubs come up to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma raises their own as well. And these are tough kids. I mean, football in Texas and Oklahoma is everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And these are tough kids. Even the backups are. So they showed that. They showed that tonight. Yeah. So I back to B. Riley's point. I think our defensive line is average. I think our offensive line is average with a weak plus. And Alex Atkins and the staffs on both sides have worked hard, but they're dealing with average athletes.
F55, and I agree with that point. A great D-line can hide bad DB play. Totally agree with that.
That's true. It's all about pressure on the quarterback. It really is. It's that way.
All right, okay. Enjoy that Washington Texas game.
Okay, let's go over to the offensive side. Yeah. Hey, B. Riley, who was that signing off? Don't sign off. Just turn down the thing. You can listen to us and watch the game at the same time. How many TVs you got? Okay, let's go over to the offensive side for a minute.
All right, we're going to defensive guys. So I'm going to put up your comments about the defense guys, but let's move to offense. Let's get your comments on the offense.
What is Stacy? The DC is low-key overrated. Okay, that's Adam Fuller, right? That's
yeah. We need to hit the portal hard for DT, DN, linebacker.
Oh, I agree. I agree, Rock.
I think we need to hit. Yeah.
If we could get one more of each of those, one more, if there's out there in potential who are better than a high school recruit at this point, I'd like to see that, because you're now building a team to make the run next year. Next year is the year. Okay. Next year is the year.
Let's go to recruits too.
Let's go to the offensive line.
Cameron has a hot take here where he says, to be honest, he doesn't see Jamie as having any draft talk at all in this mid fifth round. I can see him coming back.
Why? Cameron, tell us why, though. Why?
Yeah, Cameron, you're going to have to explain that.
Undersized is the only reason I can see. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the offensive part of this game. The offensive part of this game, the first thing that comes to my mind right off the bat is we were a little inconsistent, but when it counted in the second half, the offense rolled, and Jordan Travis is a true leader of this football team. He is the Tom Brady of Florida State right now. He would have had, except for the drops, he would have had over 500 yards passing.
Yeah, I mean,
legitimately, if you went back and put those yardage in, he would have over 500 yards passing the ball. Okay? Crazy. That's crazy numbers. But he is in total command of this offense. He is directing people now. He is so confident. He like Deuce Spann. I don't know what the hell Deuce Spann was doing in this game.
No, okay, I'm gonna say it once. I don't mean this to be rude. He just needs to move on. Like, he's on the field. He doesn't know the routes he's running. Like, why? And I know you're trying to get guys on the field. Be put on the field. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, that's my question. I tweeted that out. No disrespect, young guy trying to make it. Why the hell is he on the field in a tight game in what I call a consequential game? And then he runs the wrong route. Oh,
that was so frustrating to see. This guy, I mean, this is a guy that like blowing up on the side of the field a couple of weeks ago, and then he gets on the field and he doesn't know what he's doing.
These are the little things that can cost you a game.
Yeah.
You know, and he shouldn't be on the field. He's not talented enough. Now, I will give the coaching staff this. They're trying to get everybody in the game. I'll give them that. Darian Williamson, I didn't expect him to have. He had a pretty cool night. I mean, he made his presence known.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not taking.
Let's not overblow what his.
I'm not overblowing it. I hadn't seen him play that much
because he was hurt all year.
Okay, but he was out there playing.
Yeah.
You know who was good is Marquise Douglas.
Marqueson, yeah.
Oh my God, he knows. Hey, I got 2 tight ends coming into this room.
Yeah,
by God, I want playing time. He is a load. That play, he went into the end zone or almost into the end zone. Man, if I was a defensive back seeing that guy come at me, and he showed those soft hands. He showed good soft hands tonight.
Yeah,
I thought he did a great job. But let's get to David Delgado. Dropped catches were a problem.
It's
Johnny Wilson had a touchdown. Johnny Wilson had a big night.
I have such a love-hate with Johnny Wilson.
It is.
He when he dropped that touchdown pass, I was like, okay, here we go. This is where
that could have been the ball that cost you the game.
I was like, he's gonna drop the next 3 passes, and because every pass up to that one, it's all into his body. It's all into his body, right? He doesn't consistently catch with his hands out in front. It's all into his body. Even the easy ones, it's all into his body. He drops that one. He drops the easy one. He drops the easiest catch, and then after that. He's on fire. He doesn't drop another one. It's balls. He's Jekyll and Hyde. Like the guy disappears for 3 games, and then tonight he has 200 yards and 8 catches.
And I agree with you. I
can't stand it.
But let's give him credit. 8 catches, 202 yards, a career day for Johnny Wilson.
I'm happy for him.
However, we do, just as you said, he's a little inconsistent. And if you don't think the NFL scouts see an open receiver, Johnny Wilson, going across, a ball thrown right on time, right to him, that would be a sure touchdown, and he drops it, they get that. However, they also turn around and see him make a one-arm catch with a defensive back hanging on him, which was a great catch.
Let's play the game. Let's play the game.
What?
In my opinion, that's the play of the game.
Okay. Yeah, that was a huge makeup play there. And so Johnny Wilson coming back next year to hone his skills. And that's what these guys are doing now. This is minor league football, okay? This is AAA. When you're a Power 5 program, you are in AAA ball. You're in AAA. FCS is AA, like they say in baseball. Okay, that's a baseball reference. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, is these guys need to come back, hone their skills, and then go try to make it on the next level. If you think it's that easy on the next level, these guys, you're crazy. Okay, we've had some great receivers go forward and didn't last 2 years. Okay. So Johnny Wilson, hats off, big play. You know, I was really upset when you dropped that one ball, but you came back. Marquise Douglas, great play.
I'm excited.
Wait a minute, let me say, Pokey Wilson may have the best hands on this team.
No, and I was thinking that the whole night. I think losing Pokey is you're losing your most consistent, best hands on the team because he's exhausted his eligibility. But I think if you look down the roster, Pokey has the best hands and probably the most consistent player on the receivers. He's not the flashiest, but he is your most consistent guy on the receivers.
He is consistent.
That scares me a little bit going into next year is that he is your most consistent receiver on the team. Now, Johnny is the guy that can pop off for 200 yards, but Pokey is the guy you can go to if you want a ball caught.
I was hoping, tonight, I was hoping late in the game they were going to run Ja'Kai Douglas on a swing route, because he's got soft hands. And I thought they would, run him off, fake a handoff, let him go down the sidelines and catch a ball because he has got really, really good hands. Yeah. So overall, catching the ball tonight, I mean, if you look at the numbers, we did pretty good. We had 27 receptions for 418 yards, couple of touchdowns. We had, I think at one point, we had 17 to 19 explosive plays, which are plays over 20 yards, either running or passing.
Yeah.
And and as even the TV announcer said, they dropped some balls from Jordan. It would have been 500-yard night. It would have been an unbelievable record-setting night for Jordan Travis.
But isn't the disappointing part that you had, 500 yards? Like, how many yards of offense? You had over 500 yards of offense or something like that, and you only had 35 points. Like, the red zone struggles for this team. It's somewhat of a worry. You probably should have had 45-plus points on this defense. You just and what B. Riley said before, and some other commentators have said, is that a lot of the struggles of this season came to bear a month later, right? In this bowl game, is that the inability of this team to finish the red zone in the games you lost, especially inability to cash in on high value chances you weren't able to do tonight. Luckily, in the second half, you were able to put together, those scoring plays. But with that amount of offense, 400 yards passing on the ground, what you have, you had over 169 yards rushing. You should have more than 35 points, right? Even though that's a high volume mark, if you're scoring, if you're putting out that many yards, you should have 40-plus points, 45-plus points, and you weren't able to do that. And that's a little bit disappointing. But like you said, I thought Jordan Travis did a hell of a job, took care of the ball. We mentioned on the previous show, took some sacks. Maybe he shouldn't have. That's one thing he needs to learn in the offseason. He's got to know when to throw the ball away.
Sometimes he's got to know that.
Sometimes he has the ability to get the ball away, and he still takes the sack on the sidelines. It's like, and that one time he was able to dump the ball away to the running back really quickly, which was nice to see. There's a couple there. He took the sack, and it was just like, just throw the ball away. He loves to make the play out of nothing.
He's developed a lot. There's some things he needs to learn, and throwing the ball away. And if it's first or second down, it's not close, don't take the sack, throw it away. He's got to learn that, and he'll learn that over the summer. That's one thing Jordan needs to work on for the next level.
Yeah. David says, did we do enough in the portal to fix the offensive and defensive line? Offensive line's an interesting question as we're talking about the offense.
The answer is no.
Well, okay. So talking about the offensive line, I thought tonight the offensive line, like they did all season, was average. Has the offensive line come a long way from 2 seasons ago?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that is coming from a bottom of the barrel offensive line play. And like the old man said, they are average to maybe a little bit above average right now. This isn't a dominant offensive line, given all the stats you have about we're the 12th rated rushing attack, stuff like that.
They have played. Let me
finish my point.
Okay, go ahead.
You can look at statistics and say, we're running for 200 yards per game. We're the 12th rated, whatever. You can say that's all on the offensive line. True and false. Yes, that is. But if you look at the games, how many QB hurries and how many QB hurries is against Jordan Travis every day? That's a high statistic that there's a lot of QB hurries that are generated against him. And then how many sacks does he avoid because of his athleticism? So I feel like if you look at those stats, this offensive line is saved a lot of times by Jordan Travis. And you saw tonight that the pocket did collapse a lot, especially in the first half. And also, even when Oklahoma is only putting 5 or 6 in the box, we still couldn't run the ball effectively. Now we did get it going a little bit in the second half, and I thought this was a Trayshawn Ward game. This was a game where you needed a scat back who had a little bit more elusiveness,
quickness.
And that's where I was glad to see Trayshawn Ward have a big game tonight with 81 yards. Because I felt like the last few games it was more the Trey Benson's show, so I was really excited to see Ward get his reward, for staying there and working hard. So I was glad to see that. But I think the only good thing about this offensive line is that they're consistent. Guys aren't getting bowled over for the most part. That you know what you're going to get from them, and they don't just break down every other play. And I think the guys that you've brought in from the portal, those 3 guys that you've brought in, Byers, and the other two guys. Sorry, they're escaping mine. It's been a long day. But I think that guys that you are bringing in, and the guys that you have coming back, the guys that Bless Harris, guys from injury that you didn't see this year, I think you are going to raise the level a little bit more. So I think losing Gibbons and stuff like that, and turn time, stuff like that, I think you may see the talent level rise a little bit more this next season in terms of the guys that you're bringing in.
Here's what I would say. I agree with just about everything you said, KB. I think the problem is, here's the good news. The good news, I think these guys played to their maximum potential. I think Coach Atkins and his assistants on the O-line got them to maximize their potential. Remember, every player has a maximum ceiling. I think we reached the ceiling with these guys, okay? And no, O-line cost trade. That is not true, Stacy. It was giving the ball to three different backs, okay? Teofili had over 500 yards on the season. Trey Benson was not the whole bell cow. Well, I don't think the O-line cost Trey 1,000 yards. I mean, wait a minute.
For 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say, wait a minute. If you want to say the offensive line is not elite, Stacy, and that cost him, that's true. That's true. Okay, if you're saying they're not, they're an average plus line. Okay, but they were taken to their maximum ceiling by the coaching staff. Now we have to go out and replace those guys and at least get average plus, if not get to good status. I don't know if that's possible.
Orby, that's a great question. Why doesn't Mike run options with 13 and Benson on the edge instead of running it into the team? Some of the play calls, especially in the first half of this game, were a little bit weird. Some of this on the fourth down play calls and just running it. Yeah, Orby, that's a great question. I don't know. Sometimes I think a lot of these plays are, some of it's not enough line adjustments by Jordan, especially on the fourth down play calls. But then you saw the play calls in the second half where it was like a lot of great adjustments for the offense. And you saw the game plan open up and you saw the scoring happen. So I don't know if a lot of it's a lot of scripted plays in the first half and then a lack of adjustments at the line by Jordan when he sees how the defense is lining up. And I know Venables does a great job at scheming things up against alignments. So maybe it was some of that, but I agree. Some of the play calling in the first half, I was just like scratching my head, like, why are we? But I do think that there are ways that hopefully Norvell will develop and evolve his offense based on the tools he now sees he has, like the depth of not only his running back room, but the depth of his wide receiver room. Maybe it will further open up his play calling next year into different formations, especially too. These guys have now been in the playbook for so long that he can do even more with them, right? They're not going to be confused. He can look to do even more with these players, right? So hopefully it opens it up. But
I thought Benson, I was a little disappointed he didn't get a few more touches, but most of his touches were inside running, and Oklahoma was tough inside, and we couldn't get them out of the trenches. We did not dig those guys out very well. And I wasn't totally surprised by that. We talked about this last night. If anybody wants to go back and look at the tape from last night, we said you can't overlook this team, even with the guys that they had out, that these guys play tough football. Okay. They are a tough football team. This may be one of the toughest football teams we played. And I'm a little disappointed because they were down so many guys. If they had their full complement, I don't know if we win this game, to be honest. I'm just being honest. I don't know.
I think if they have their full complement, this is a very, very tough game to win.
This could be a different ball game. So let's go on with let's talk about just what's on my mind right now, and that is Ryan Fitzgerald. Fitzy.
Why do we have to talk about?
Can you believe? No, he won the damn game with the kick. Yeah. Okay, he's been the guy on the hot seat the whole damn year. Now he's the guy should be getting champagne poured over his head to getting his leg and his mind back so he can go in at the end of the game. And I don't know if anybody else was thinking what I was thinking. You know what I was doing at the time? I wasn't even watching him. I was already putting together my tweet to say the field goal by Ryan is good. I already had good down. I had it down. I said, maybe that'll help. And bam, he kicks it through. The guy goes from being a hot seat to the hero of helping to get this game over the top for us.
Yeah.
And he's your kicker for next year.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still going through it. There's a lot of good wide receiver comments in here that I'm trying to pull up. Yeah, I think that's I think there is I was holding my breath on that Fitzgerald kick there. And he got it done.
Were you thinking too, like I was? He's gonna. He's 50% kicker. 50%.
I'll be truthful to you. I was so pissed at Norvell for getting conservative. You had this great John.
They were setting it up. They were setting it up.
I know they were. I knew they were. But I was like, you have this big explosion play down the field. Johnny makes an unbelievable catch and one-handed, his other hand play, almost breaks it for a touchdown. You're within the 20-yard line, whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, here we go. We're going to go with the burn the clock, run it down. You have to be able to run the ball consistently. He's going to run up the gut 3 times, get stopped, burn their timeouts, and then you're going to give the ball back with a minute left. And I'm just like cringing. So I'm like, this is how we lose the game. We're going to give them the ball back with a minute. Our defense is going to collapse because they've given up 32 points tonight, and we're going to lose the game somehow. And I just hate when
that's a negative thought process.
And I just hate when you pull your foot off the gas. But I know that's why I'm not a coach. That's because I would say let's keep the tempo up and let's score the damn ball. Let's get in the end zone. I don't care how much time is on the clock.
You were saying when they ran the ball on third down, Benson took it into the side of where Fitz wanted the ball. They said that. That's where he wants it lined up. So they were playing field goal the whole series.
Exactly. And for me as a fan, I'm going crazy because I'm like, this kid hasn't been consistent all year, and you're doing a 32-yard field goal, and that's not 100% range for him. That's like 50% range for him. And for me, I'm like, if I'm a coach, which I'm not, and this is why I'm not a coach, but I would have said, let's get it over the damn goal line and score 7 points from first down, not third down, from first down. Let's score the damn ball and go up 7. And I don't care if it gives them a minute 30.
Well, Alex,
let's go up 7 because I know they only have one timeout. They still only have one timeout, even when we had the ball up, on first down. They only had one.
I don't think he wanted to risk something going wrong with the ball, and he
made the right call.
And he wins. If he kicks and misses, then he's going to get criticized. So it can go either way.
And RB says at times, Mike is a good coach, but at times he overthinks. LSU toss, yes, on the goal line, horrible play decision. The NC State pick, horrible decision. Running on 3rd and 9 tonight. Yes. That 3rd and 9 run tonight was
to set up the field goal. I mean, it was strictly to set up the field goal.
No, there was another 3rd and 9 run where it was like a draw play and they got nothing on it. And it was like, what are you doing? Orby, that's a great decision. Like you said, I think he's trying to think too far ahead on certain calls.
Put up on the other call from who was the comment before that about the kicker?
And Alex, you're right. Yeah. I was thinking tonight we need to explore the portal. And I know there was that kid from Jackson State who was in, but he's already going to Colorado. There's a couple of kickers out of the end of the portal, and I'm like, are we kicking the tires on these kids? Ryan's only a sophomore, going to be a junior, so he's going to look to stick around for 2 years. I'm like, is this the kid that Mike wants to invest his future in? Is Ryan Fitzgerald? No offense to him, but there needs to be a kicking competition next year. So if they're not kicking tires on kickers who are in the portal, I know there's been a few. I would be very concerned.
I would try to bring in a kicker to Alex's comment. I would try to bring in a kicker. I would try to have more kicking competition. You've got a kicker who coach has fallen in love with and shows good support to, and we want to as well. But you have to look at the numbers. And the numbers are, do you want him kicking for you in an ACC championship game when he's got to hit a 48, 49-yarder with 10 seconds on the clock? Well, I mean, is he the guy you want? I think you're bringing in players for competition on other things. Are you willing to give up a scholarship to do that?
Well, here you go. There's all these kickers in the portal, as you can see here. And there's a kid that's from Memphis that's in the portal. He was a former, like I said, there's plenty of options in the portal right now. So I hope, and some of them are already committed, like I said.
But you can't see the numbers on these.
Well, I know that. Like you said. but there's got to be a guy in here that's got to be somewhat competitive, if at minimum for competition. Like,
and you know what? And you know what?
Push him to have to be better.
Yeah. And you know what? This is where the FCS doesn't really matter. A kicker is a kicker. If the guy is 100% in high school, 100% in the FCS, he's kicking it on the same field that Fitz is kicking it on.
Yeah. It's
a different measurement. It's the ability to mentally be stable and be able to kick it through those uprights.
Yeah.
I mean, on a consistent basis, we need you at about 70%.
Not
70%.
Not 58%.
Not 58. That's the flip of a coin. I mean, that could have gone bad tonight. There were a lot of things that could have gone bad tonight that this game ends up differently.
There's 5-star kickers from Tallahassee coming out in 23. Yeah, you would hope you'd be able to keep one of those kids.
Coming out in 23. You mean graduating high school in 23.
You would hope you'd be able to keep one of those kids.
You would think so. You would think so. Okay. All right.
B. Riley says, no, we ran the same toss play later in the season, got a TD. The NC State pick was a bad decision by Travis, not a bad call. Running on the third tonight was break Tennessee with the plan. I don't know. He's all about breaking Tennessee to increase win probability. Doing so often increases loss probability. He's not conservative. In the long run, we win more games, but lost by larger margins. Yeah, that's a good counterpoint there. Like I said,
I like Norvell's offense. I do. I think wait a minute. I think he's been able to really exploit the playbook he has. I think he's getting the pieces out. This is his team. He's put it together. He's gotten rid of the players he didn't want, and I see it now. I see the vision. You know what? I never used to see Florida State receivers running wide open. Now I see them.
That's true.
Now I see them wide open. And for the quarterback, their eyes got to light up because they can get the ball to these guys.
Yeah.
But you never used to see that separation. Now I'm seeing separation.
Yeah.
And I like the innovation when Marquise Douglas was down there and caught the ball in for the touchdown. He was, they did a little trickery there.
That was a great play. Putting the lineman out in a spot.
That was great.
Inside on the line. That was a great.
And it's great. I love it when they use the tight end. The tight end is a huge weapon. You got two weapons coming in with Marquise. Yeah. You're going to have a pretty good tight end room, it looks like. So I think this offense is going to be supercharged going into 2023. They got to help that offensive line. All the other pieces are there. And it should be scoring easily, averaging. We averaged 32 points, I think, this year, 32. We should be averaging 33, 35 points a game for sure. And I think this team will be very, very competitive, and the fan base thinks it's ACC level championship competition. And we'll have more time to talk about that sometime.
Okay, but, let's get back to the question here. So with this, like David Dugall says, what the hell is the coaching staff doing all states to make adjustments to their kicking situation? It's clearly an issue, and the staff has to find a way to coach them up.
Well, it wasn't an issue tonight. It wasn't an issue tonight. He missed one, right?
Yeah, he missed that 53-yarder.
Yeah, well, that's 53 yards. I mean, he's hit one outside of 50. But David's right. We already discussed this. He's a 58% kicker. That is not productive. Okay, that's not productive for a championship team.
Rock says, right? Are you willing to waste two scholarship on two kickers?
I might be. William
McKillum says no. He's not willing to waste two scholarships on two kickers.
Well, you know what? We were very lucky. Now, this game came down to the kick, really. This is the only game that came down to a kick this season, and I'm shocked by that, to be honest. I thought there would be another game where it would come down to a kick, and he'd probably miss. But Coach took him out of some of those situations. Well, there were many times we went for fourth downs. We went for fourth downs because it was outside his range, and God only knows. We don't know what his range is. He'll put him out there for a 54, but he won't put him out there for a 44. I don't know what the hell his range is. He probably figures there's no pressure if you're over 50 yards kicking the damn
He doesn't
football.
have a range because every time he makes a field goal, they celebrate like he just won the national championship.
Well,
He
that's
doesn't
what
know
I'm
his own
saying.
range.
No, that's what I mean. So I think there should be a kicking competition. If not, it will bite Coach Norvell at some point. It's going to bite you.
Darwin says, "I love this team, but what's missing is the Mortal Kombat by not finishing them." Darwin, I agree. I get it. I totally agree with
Darwin, that's a good one. Mortal Kombat,
especially against talented teams. It's not when we're playing Syracuse or not when we're playing Louisiana. We got to finish quality teams. And this,
I would feel much better if this team was stocked the way it should have been. I'm just a little. I think it's a little hard. When you see this is kind of that bowl play where they had, I can't still believe that number of 20 people. I know you've been quoting that number. 20 people were out for a variety of reasons, especially their senior running back. It takes a little bit off this win for me. I'm just being honest. You can like it or not.
Orby says, I'm fine with the offense. The problem with Mike is he has a little Jimbo in him. He's too loyal to his coaches. I understand the family pitch, but this is a business. We need 2 more ace recruiters. That's. Are
we getting bad recruits? I don't think we're getting bad recruits.
Our high school recruiting hasn't been.
Are you saying?
Our record hasn't been great, so it's hard to.
Orby, are you saying we need more 4 stars and 5 stars? I think. Well, yeah, probably.
But usually, high school recruiting follows this season after. So, in our 23 class, it's looking pretty good right now. So, and. We won 5 games last season, and
I think this is more like pro football now, KB. I think you have the board up there in front of you, and then you're slotting where you need help, and then you're just going to go find that help. I don't think
that's not what he's saying. He's saying we need to close on more of these high. We can't be focusing on 3 stars. We need Florida State is a program that needs to get 4 and 5 stars, and we need to get more of those kids into the program.
I agree.
Like Oklahoma's been doing with top 10 classes consistently, and just like Miami did this past season.
We're going to need those guys in 2024. We're going
in the NIL era, we really ought to be able to get a transfer kid as PWO for moderate price. That's a good point, B. Riley. So you get a preferred walk on.
That's a good point.
Get him some money, and you don't take up a scholarship. I like that. That's a Mike Norvell pitch. Get him on the phone.
Good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
hey,
that pitch.
B. Riley, send a letter into Coach, and tell him that. One time, long time ago, I sent a letter into Coach Bowden. I think this was before emails. I sent because I was living up near Maryland, and Maryland had got this new computer system, to help their football program. And so I took the article and sent it down to Coach Bowden, and you know what? He sent a letter back. He goes, yeah, we're aware of that, and we're working to get something like that now. And I still have that letter signed by Coach Bobby Bowden. But, sometimes, a little, you can send stuff into Coach. Sometimes they'll answer. Sometimes they won't,
Yeah. Why don't we get more kids from the Midwest? I just don't think we can recruit. I mean, it's so Michigan, Ohio State, Wisconsin. You can't. And
that's where these offensive linemen are. The good defense and offensive linemen. We don't grow those guys here in Florida. We've tried for years. We've tried for years to go into the Midwest.
You can't. It's locked down. It's
so hard. It's so hard.
But then you can try to get them in the portal. Then you get a Caden Idols from Wisconsin. You can try to get them once they are.
Well, look at Dylan Gibbons. He's from Clearwater. He's from Florida.
So
but to bring a Michigan guy in down here, or to bring a guy from Iowa or Iowa State or Oklahoma or Texas. When's the last time we had a Texas lineman on this team?
Yeah.
No.
Before we go any further, if you don't mind, guys, as you're watching, like the video, subscribe. We appreciate all the comments. We love you guys. So as we go through, like the video, subscribe. We appreciate.
Listen, my pay from KB is based on subscribes.
Why do you say that? I literally lose money every video we do here. So don't say that. I'm losing money.
Hey, and by the way, most of the tweets you see out there are mine. Occasionally, I will put my name Bruce or BRU. That means it's from mine. I won't attribute those to KB. Most are mine. Yeah. We're going to figure out a way to get our own out there.
Follow him on Twitter exclusively. Looking at the question here, how many coaches do you think need to be replaced? That's a good question. We may do a separate show on that. It could be one. Wow. Could be. I think Like I said, I don't even know if it's worth
Who would
discussing
you
right now.
replace?
I don't know if they're going to. I don't think it's realistic that they
Well,
will.
let's ask the
replace.
fans. Let's ask the fans. Rock, who would you want to
Yeah,
replace?
who would you replace?
Who out there? Tell us which coaches, and then we'll discuss that a little bit. Send it tonight. Send it whenever you want.
Yeah.
Pay Verse to come back next year.
I agree. I think he knows. I think in the back of his mind, he knows he needs to come back to develop.
I think he knows that.
But I think if you give him a little bit of NIL, he definitely will. I think that's a.
I wonder what his. Yeah, I would love to know when the feedback comes in from the NFL on these guys, which it does.
It already is coming back.
Okay, so
it already is.
Yeah, if he thinks he can go round 1 or 2, he's probably gone. He's probably gone.
Unless if he's going to be round 2, and then if they think he's going to be round 2, and then Florida State gives them competitive money, I think he'll come back.
I've said this consistently, and I'm willing to have fans call me off on this.
Oh, God.
I like Jared Verse. I don't think he's ready. He hasn't impressed me enough. Number one, against the run, that when they run at him, which they have, he's been caught inside a lot because he's thinking sack. I'm a sack guy. That's what I do. I'm a sack guy. And he just hasn't shown me, like Fabian Lovett, that they're so superior and elite that they're going to be so good at the next level. I'm just saying that.
Hey, 1.5 sacks tonight. 1.5 tackles for loss.
Well, yeah, but
I mean,
the big one, the last one was good. I'll give you that. Hats off to Jared on that one.
And to Orby's point, Florida State program was built on top 5 to 10 classes.
They were.
So,
they were.
And
they were.
This is before the transfer portal.
This is
before the transfer portal. But when you look at the blue blood programs now, Clemson, Georgia, those types of programs that are in the championship now consistently, they're all high school recruiting. So that's not to say you can't use the transfer portal, but I think there has to be a delicate balance between how you utilize the portal and then a healthy pipeline of top recruits from high school.
I think your backbone should be high school recruits for the long run, and then you fill those holes and needs, immediate needs, with portal.
And B. Riley.
And Norvell's been very successful with that.
B. Riley, you're totally right. I thought we were a 7-5 team this year. Me and the old man had the same record prediction, 7-5. When we looked at the roster and we looked at the schedule, we didn't. We saw 7-5. So to your point, this staff overperformed its individual.
They did.
talent.
They did.
So,
they did.
Yeah.
Now listen. Here's a prediction you guys can write down out there.
Oh, here we go.
At the end of 2023 season, Alex Atkins is gone. Okay. And that should be very interesting. We'll talk about this down the road. Alex Atkins will be gone. Okay. And the question is, how many players does he take with him wherever he's going for whatever job? He'll probably have a head coaching job somewhere. Okay. I would suspect he's a rising star. So he may get his shot. He's got the OC credential now, and he's had a very good year. They were rushing the ball over an average over 200 yards and big offenses. Next year, those numbers will be bigger. It should be bigger, and that will be his stepping stone the hell out of here. Okay, so I'm a little scared after 2023. I think 2023 is going to be an exciting year. It's going to be a pressure year, but it's going to be this team is going to be almost all coming back, and then we're bringing in other players. It should be an exciting year with maybe a little bit weaker schedule. So,
okay, we're getting now comments in about your coaching question. Who should be replaced? B. Riley says, realistically, Woodson's the only guy to be replaced. I'm not sold on Fuller, but Norvell appears to be confident that talent upgrades will make Fuller more successful. Yeah, I definitely do think there needs to be talent upgrades in that defensive backfield and defensive position. So, yeah, I would agree with you. Woodson, I think a lot of people think him as a DB's coach needs to be replaced, both for talent improvement or talent progression as well as recruiting.
You have to wonder, at one point years back, okay, believe it or not, I was coaching defensive backs at Florida High on the campus of Florida State. And if anybody knows Tallahassee, for 2 years, I was coaching defensive backs. You can coach defensive backs. You can put them through all kinds of drills and everything. But when it comes to gameplay, if they're just not closing fast enough, or they just don't want to get beat and they take an extra step backwards, which nobody likes to get beat, it's like, how much more can I do? Now, if it's a matter of recruiting and bringing the right guys in, then that's another thing.
Well,
I think
that feeds defensive backs.
What
does that equal into itself? If you are recruiting the right guys, those guys will do the job that you teach them.
I don't think the guys we have are bad. I don't think our defensive backs that we have are. I think we have some talent there.
If you were able to lock down very talented guys,
and we don't have Deion Sanders back there or Ramsey back there. Have
overly talented guys in that position.
Who's a guy shouldn't be on the field?
We don't have the caliber of.
Who's a guy you don't like that shouldn't be on the field? Name a guy.
I don't say I dislike the players we have, but I don't think Renardo Green is a top 25.
I thought he had a pretty good year. I didn't say he's a top. I thought for a college player, I thought he had to
compete for the playoff spot in 2 years. He's not going to be on the field. That's just being realistic.
No, we're going to be competing next year, not 2 years from now.
That's not
okay.
For a playoff spot.
Okay. Oh, for a playoff spot.
That's what I'm saying.
That's 2 years.
We want to compete for a playoff spot in 2 years.
I don't think I think he'll lose his eligibility by then. I don't think he's going to be around.
What I'm saying is he is not good enough for us to compete with Georgia, with Ohio State, with Michigan.
Probably not.
That's what I'm saying. We need talent level who's able to lock down a Marvin Mims, and he's not able to do that.
Okay, you're saying
that's the talent we need on this team.
At least on paper, we should be bringing in 4- and 5-star D-backs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We had one. We had one. Sam McCall. He left
because he wasn't developed or he was overrated. It's one of those two.
So the stars don't matter that much.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's one of those two. Either he wasn't developed, or B, he was over recruited. It could be both of those things, or it could be one of those things.
Well, that's why Coach Norvell gets $4 or $5 million a year plus bonuses to figure it out. Okay, where do I? Here goes Stacey. If it ain't Charles Woods, then he needs to go. Okay, yeah. I mean, the coach has to look at all his staff too, and tell them the same thing he tells players. I think it's time to move on.
Yeah.
If he could bring in a better guy from, Coach Norvell knows a lot of coaches. Do you bring in a new coach at this point, and how disruptive is that to a locker room for 2023 run?
I don't care about that. If you're bringing in
you better care about it.
If you're bringing in a elite replacement, it doesn't matter. If you're just going to fire a guy, then yeah, it matters. But if you're like, I can bring in a ace recruiter to replace Woodson, yeah, you absolutely.
Hey, I don't want to be stupid, and obviously I was well involved in the game, but was Grady Vance out there playing tonight?
You didn't hear his name, so that's either a good thing or a bad thing. Probably a good thing, but I mean,
because Jared Jones went down early. And I didn't hear Grady Vance's name called once. Renato Green's name was called a lot. Jamie Robinson was called a lot. Amari Cooper his name was mentioned.
I saw his name on the field, but
Thomas' name was mentioned. I didn't hear Grady Vance's name one time. So I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. They're not throwing at him.
Brock, you asked a good question. When you're top 5 or 10 classes, do you think guys on a lot of these freshmen or redshirt freshmen are willing to wait their turn or do they hit the portal? I think it's a good question. I think one depends on the trajectory of your program too, and I also think it depends on the position that you play. If you're a quarterback, I don't think you're going to wait around 3 years anymore, even 2 years sometimes. If you're a defensive back and there's a heavy rotation, I think you're willing to wait around. I think it's the style of play. Florida State, you rotate a lot of guys in a lot of different positions, so I think you'd be willing to wait around, especially if you're a redshirt freshman, because you're going to get some burn. Defensive line, DB, receiver. But some programs, you don't get any burn until your sophomore, junior year, and that's why you leave. Or if your program's down the dumps, you're probably going to leave. So I think it depends on your style of play and how deep your roster goes, as well as what skill position do you play? Are you able to get burned, like if you're not the quarterback, stuff like that? So I think it really does depend.
Well, I think the other thing to his question is, if you come out of high school as a 4 and 5 star and you're not seeing the field a lot, how much have you put on tape for another program? They have to wonder, why isn't this guy playing? But they may take you on potential. They may, or if you're willing to go to a James Madison. James Madison, most people don't know where James Madison is. James Madison has a pretty damn good football program. They just bumped up. Just wait a minute. They just bumped up from FCS to FBS. So a young player who's not getting a lot of reps could end up down at a James Madison or a Coastal Carolina or, another program, that is not Power 5 to play. Everybody should want to play. I mean, that's why they're there. You're going to see a lot of movement in college football forever now. I mean, that's really true. Now, this season, and I don't have all the facts, hold that up there for this season. They said you could bring in up to 25 players. I think this is the last season you can do that. Total spots, total positions. And I don't have all the facts and figures on that. If somebody wants to correct me out there, please put that up and tell me what that rule is. It goes away after this year. So I think it's about the portal. A lot of college were really hitting the portal hard, like Colorado really hitting the portal hard because they know after this year, it's going to get cut back, those numbers of how many transfers I think you could have. But they've hit that portal hard. Okay, B. Riley. Oh, total disagree. Cooper didn't belong in the field this year. Wow. Hey, Cooper and Norvell have a love affair, basically. Cooper didn't – oh, you mean Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
you mean Amari. Okay, I thought you meant Robert Cooper. Okay, Amari Cooper didn't belong in the field this year. Knowles and Vance are below average.
That's true.
You're tough. B. Riley, I thought we were tough. You're really no sugar.
I told you this whole
We're going to give B. Riley. B. Riley's going to get one of our no sugar awards. Yeah. The only guys on the roster who belong are Green, Robinson, and as Thomas. As Thomas has potential. Interesting. I know Cooper had lost his job for a while. He was thought to be a starter this year, but he had lost his job in a way. McCall, no, McCall wanted to play corner, but he's a safety. Well, he's got to be flexible for the team too. The plan was to him to replace Jamie. It's too bad. McCall, I think, is missing an opportunity. He could have well been a starter next year, but he wasn't willing to sit it out and wait. Nobody wants to talk about this, but what was the last time Odell Hagens had a defensive tackle drafted? Well, that's true. Odell is a beloved member. Odell will retire when Odell wants to retire.
Marvin Wilson got drafted, didn't he?
Who?
Wilson got drafted.
Nah, he wasn't any good. Yeah, he made a roster, I think a practice roster. He's still on a practice roster. He hasn't done anything. Marvin Wilson was overrated too. I have to agree with Rock on that one. Odell Hagens is getting a little long in the tooth, okay? And that's no disrespect. He has paid his dues. He's had a great playing career, and he's had a great coaching career. What are you laughing about, KB?
You guys know he won, right? Yeah, Mark.
Mark, we know. We do. No, Mark, we do. And we said that up front, okay? And we don't want anybody to think we're down on it. We're trying to say, how do we make this program better? We did win, but it's how we won over who we won and what they didn't have, what pieces they were missing. Okay, if we were missing 10 or 20 guys, then I could say, okay, but I expected us maybe to win at a better showing because we kind of just, it was one of those where we just edged it out. We were talking last night. KB goes, well, we could see Tate in there.
No, I did. I said this would not be a
go back. You said that. And I said, no.
You're actually losing your mind then. You literally are losing your mind then. You may be drunk right now because I literally said this is not going to be a walk-on game.
I'm drinking water.
Yeah, and then you may be having a medical event. Because
no, but I said for sure
this is not going to be a backup game. I literally said Tate's not going to be in this game because I didn't think this was going to be a cupcake game. I said,
I thought Tate might be in the game when Jordan got up limping around a little bit. That would, that could have been a total disaster there.
Do you think Odell Hagens needs to retire? Like I think you said, he's going to retire on his own terms.
I'd give him next year. I'll give let it. I don't want to disrupt this team too much. This team has a character. It has a defined family image, and you saw that when they carted Turntine off the field. I've never seen a team come all the way out to a player like that. That was wonderful. It was great to see, and thank God the refs didn't like throw a flag or something. Yeah. I think they knew what it was. But I don't want to see this team disrupted too much going into 2023. I don't think there's going to be many changes from the coaching staff. And we should say this.
Okay.
We forget about the player, the football operations staff we don't see. Go in, look at the roster on Seminoles.com, and you'll see the roster of people that work to bring players into this program. It's an amazing, very large, very NFL type of organization now. And they have to have some credit too. They're the unsung heroes of this season, a 10-3 season, which we're all going to be very proud of. Remember what we used to be remember what we used to be able to hang our hat on as being proud of is when what's his name caught that 15-yard pass from Travis and we beat Miami. What was that, 4th and 15? Who was that guy? He was a portal guy. Who was that guy? I don't even remember his name.
That was the only catch he had all season.
Basically. I know. And we used to, but we're now.
The guy from Kansas.
Now we're feeling better. We're feeling better. But
hey, Mike, appreciate you coming by. You guys gave us a good run. Appreciate you coming by, being a Sooners fan and all. But
is that a Sooners fan?
You guys showed you guys have a hell of a team there, and hopefully we can get you at full strength sometime.
Hey, Mike,
we appreciate you coming by, though.
Mike, you guys put up one hell of a game for the missing parts. Let's tell it like it is, okay? We're not going to say, hey, we beat your ass. What happened to his comment? Where the hell did it go?
Well, I had it up for about 10 minutes, and you're going off about this whole speech about.
You guys put up a hell of a thing. Gabriel, how he got the hell, you got a great portal guy when you got him. He's going to be terrific next year. You've got a lot of good talent coming back. Oklahoma's a good brand. And they're a powerful program, and you got a good coach. That's the reality of it, and you put up a hell of a fight.
Wilson didn't get drafted. He was like, okay, you're right, Rock. I wasn't sure if he was a late round draft pick. So maybe we haven't had a defensive tackle drafted in the most. I was trying to
the last one was Odell Higgins.
Maybe. B. Riley has a clarification on that high school. Last couple of years, the rule was 25 high school and 32 class cap. So 7 transfers. NCAA waived the rule, unlimited class size through the COVID class maturation. No end date announced for waiver. All right, thanks for that clarification. So there's
that's great.
Class,
thanks. Yeah.
No unlimited class size right now. So with no expiration right now.
But that goes off next year, I think. That goes off.
He literally said that it doesn't have an announced date for an end date.
So I heard that it was ending after this year. So,
and Stacey, I do agree. I think at some point, whether Old Man says next year or the year after, at some point, if this staff needs to get to the next level, we need to have an elite D-line coach, the next generation D-line coach who can both be a developer of talent, also an ace recruiter. I think Odell is good for the brand, but at some point, people don't know who Odell Higgins is.
Make him a special assistant to the program.
Off-field,
he's a nice guy.
Making him off-field guy. Like kind of what Mickey Andrews was when he was, kind of a consultant or a brand ambassador.
Now, listen, back in the heydays, back in our dynasty days, we turned out some damn good linemen. We were kind of turning out defensive ends
but he's
to the NFL a lot.
He's not doing that anymore.
Okay.
It is what it is. We need Pittman to be like, I don't know what's going on with
Pittman. He disappeared tonight.
He's just, he hasn't really done anything this year. I mean,
what do you mean? I thought he's done a lot this year. What are you talking about?
What has he done?
Well, I don't know. I don't have his
what has he done? He's done a lot this year, so you should be able to remember.
No, I think he's been a valuable player this year.
How? Just
he can only do what they do with the throwing in the football.
I'll give him credit. He's an excellent blocker on the edges. He blocks his ass off, and I think Once again, he hasn't fumbled the ball in the
Well,
kick return game. So that's been the godsend. He doesn't fumble the ball when it's kicked to him.
Yeah, well, that's good enough.
Thank the Lord for that.
And that's good enough, right?
Thank the Lord for that. And he blocks. And he blocks as a receiver.
Well,
if that's all he does for this program in 2 years, that's good enough for me. But I would love for him to be more of a dynamic playmaker in the offense. And I don't know if he will be, because when Winston Wright comes back, hopefully he's healthy. I'm not sure there's going to be room for him. I'm not sure there's going to be room for him.
I don't know what his yearly numbers were. I'm not going to take the time to look it up, but I think he's been a contributor. I think he's Ja'Kai Douglas. That guy's got a good player. I don't know why he sticks here with this program, to be honest. Ja'Kai Douglas is a good running back. He can also catch the ball out of the backfield. And
Dagby says he sees Pittman and Douglas as a 1-2 slot short pass
combination. I agree. Ja'Kai was out there. He caught a ball tonight, I think. And, he's a good player. I think the problem is you have so many guys now, and you're trying to get them all a little piece of the meat. And it's hard. It's hard to do. Yeah, you're trying to keep them happy because you don't want to lose them.
Also, you want to keep guys fresh too. If you have depth, use it, and I think that's part of the plan too. If you're running a high explosion offense, you want to get the freshest guys out there, and I think if you have depth, to use it. Robbo says, I think you guys are right about Novell not going to replace Fuller. That's his guy, kind of like Jimbo and Charles Kelly. I think that's
unless you promote Randy Shannon. Unless you were going to promote Randy Shannon.
I think the only way Fuller goes if he takes a head coaching job in a small program. Fuller, if he were to go to a small
program. Where the hell is he going to get a full – you mean FCS? He's not going to get
If you would let me finish my sentence, you would have heard that's what I was saying. Yes.
Okay.
If he would go to an FCS school, small program, and just like you're saying with Alex Atkins, if he goes to coach somewhere, that's what you would have to replace somebody. And Dangby's right, Parchment, Andrew Parchment. That's
Parchment. Yeah, remember that? The T-shirts and everything. 4th and 17 or whatever it was.
Last defensive tackle drafted was Derek. Oh, Derek
Naughty.
Yeah.
Naughty. Yeah.
He's still playing. Well. He's still playing pretty well.
He's still playing.
Good pull, Rock. Good pull there.
Yeah, you guys are good out there. You guys are really good out there. We're gonna have to get a special thing for our contributors here.
Odell needs to be an off-field coach.
Totally. Yeah, make him an assistant, and that's what we do. That's what you do.
Next season, I think you first of all you have to pinpoint who's going to be your replacement for Odell. Find your big board of who are our top 3 replacements for him. Start the behind-the-scenes negotiations. Talk to Odell. Be like, hey, here's the plan. Next year we play you out, do your tributes and all that stuff. Go for the ACC title next year.
It's hard. It's hard to let a guy
transition.
Go.
We find our guy we want to replace you with, and get your off-field role, and have a nice transition.
Listen, Norvell. Yeah, I think nothing's going to happen. Maybe Woodson next year, but nothing's going to happen to Odell, and nor should it. He's been a staple of the program. Yeah. He's going to get to make his own call. But the next place would be an assistant, an ambassador for the program, where he's still catching a check. And so on,
His stats are so big. There's going to be room for him if he wants it. He may just want to retire and say, "I'm done with it. I can go coach high school or something."
Douglas is my guy. Douglas who? Douglas.
Ja'Kai Douglas.
Oh, Ja'Kai Douglas. Okay. Well, Marqueston Douglas too. There's 2 Douglases on the team, KB. So, Douglas is a talented guy. I don't know if there's just enough room on this team for him. I don't want to lose him. I think he's kind of like the D end who just goes in to rush the passer on a 3rd down. He's a specialty guy. Yeah, he's been hurt a lot.
I think that's one reason he doesn't transfer. He doesn't have enough tape, and he's been injury prone.
Yeah.
Pippins was excellent possession receiver on 3rd downs, especially early in the season. He's the kind of guy that requires a mismatch and is used in motion, creates those opportunities as well as gives Travis pre-snap reads.
And he runs the ball a little bit.
And be right. You're definitely right on that. I just wish, and I think, like you said, I think there was a play earlier that in the game today where he definitely got his face mask held and it wasn't called. And I think he definitely does get those mismatches. I just feel like either A, Travis isn't seeing them and we're not exposing them enough, or B, it's just not being called enough. We're not getting
what's good, though? You know what's good?
What's good?
Is maybe he's not seeing the ball as much because Jordan is moving the ball around to more pieces now. So the more times you move the ball around, because you trust all these guys. Look at all the guys he can throw the ball to. He's thrown the ball out there. Look at the guys tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, he's moving the ball around, which puts a lot of pressure on the defense. That all these guys can play. The problem is, all these guys want to have more touches on the football, and it's really difficult.
I still think we need a guy underneath. If we have guys like Malik McClain and Johnny Wilson spreading,
Winston Wright
going downfield, spreading down the field and pushing DBs down the field, we need that underneath guy that can constantly just not a running back, but a guy like Ja'Kai or a guy like Pittman who can take
and Winston Wright could do that
and open it up. Well, and that's the thing is that as people are asking, do you think with Winston Wright coming back, how's that going to even play out Douglas Pittman?
I don't know.
And that's where we have B. Riley say he could definitely he could see Douglas transferring if Wright comes back full strength. And that's the thing. Is Wright going to come back to who he was in West Virginia?
Haven't heard a thing.
But that's the thing. In the spring, we could see guys enter the portal after the spring game. So you could see guys late.
Yes, that is the next portal that comes up. Yeah.
So the portal's open until I think January 21st, and then it reopens during the springtime again. So we could still see guys pop in after these bowl games up until mid-January, and it'll open up again in spring. So it's not too late for these guys.
I'm sure football operations has their nose to the grindstone listening, and they're still looking for guys. If there's still 4 or 5 guys out there that can help bolster certain positions, they're going to bring these guys in. And we may have some guys leave as well. I expect on both sides we'll see that.
My only question for you and everybody on here is that I still don't know. We're losing Pokey, who I think, like we talked about earlier, is our most consistent receiver on this team in terms of hands. And B. Riley brought it up too, is that with Johnny, he's catching based on field. We brought that up too. He's catching based on field. He's not catching confidently with his hands and stuff like that. Do we have any concerns about this team not having a true, consistent playmaking receiver next season? We have a bunch of role players, but are we missing that guy you can go to when you need it, when everyone else is covered? That a guy that can get open, back shoulder, or is it going to be Johnny Wilson? Is it like, okay, he's going to develop next season, he's going to be the guy, or are we happy with us having 5 different receivers?
Well, you're bringing in Hakeem Williams, right?
Yeah. Is that going to be the guy? Is that going to be our number 1?
He's going to be young. He's got a lot to learn. He's going to have to learn the playbook. It's complicated. They're going to ease him into it, but he's a 5-star guy. He's got a great high school reputation, but it takes a while. But I think Johnny Wilson is going to be the guy you just described. I mean, and he will have his drops because that's what he does have. And you hope that he has more big catches than drops to win ball games. But he will be probably the most accomplished receiver you have going into 2023.
So that's not my question. My question is not who's going to be your most accomplished. Is that you need to bring in a real do you need to find a playmaker, or is it a guy will emerge on this route? So that's my
how about Winston Wright? How about Winston Wright? Winston Wright hasn't played, but it's going to take him a while to get into the rhythm again and take some hits. Now, there's a guy out of Memphis just hit the portal. I saw that guy. I don't remember his name, but he had a pretty good career numbers there. I think he has a couple years left of eligibility, maybe, or he may be a grad transfer. But Mike Norvell is probably well familiar with this guy, and he might get a call.
I don't know who you're talking about, but
there's a guy. Well, it doesn't matter. But like I said, I thought that was an interesting name that popped up, and Mike Norvell would be.
I just get concerned. I got concerned today when the offense kind of stalls out, and we've seen it from time to time. This offense sometimes stalls when the run game doesn't get going, and that run game at times did stall tonight. We're running into the teeth of defense.
Yeah, we didn't have 200 yards tonight. We didn't have 200 yards.
Yeah, and it stalled at times. You had a couple big Trayshawn runs. You had a couple big Jordan Travis runs, but Trey Benson never got going tonight. And that was rare. The last 3 or 4 games, he had his big games, but he was never able to get going tonight. And then the passing game kind of stalled out in the first half as well. And I'm like, who's the guys that going to emerge? Then you saw drop balls here and there, and it's like, where do we go from here? Like, what's going to happen? Luckily, they made adjustments in the second half, and it opened up. You got Jordan on motion, got some guys open. And I'm like, someone's got to step up. And luckily, Johnny did step up. And I'm like, every single game, it seems to be a different receiver. I just wish we had one guy that you could always count on that's going to get 80 yards per game. But maybe that's not the style of offense we're playing.
Yeah,
maybe that's not who it is.
Yeah, I think Rob O makes a good comment here. We're just an average team that finds ways to win, a team that plays for each other. I think that's a true statement across the board. This team is close. They enjoy playing with each other. Yeah. They're not a super elite talented team. They're clearly not close to a playoff team. They're trying to build a team that can challenge for ACC titles. Once Florida State went into the ACC, some of you folks may not remember that we won 10, 12 straight years, ACC titles. I mean, we were the giant on the block, and then as Bowden started to age out and he was bringing in his kids to coach and, it was crumbling, but they were the giant on the block. And in those days, there were no such thing as stars next to people's names. There was no NIL. They were just tough football players who were well coached. And Mickey Andrews gets a lot of credit for that. And I'm going to bring up quickly a story that I know KB hates. I'm going to mention. I saw a very good interview with Deion Sanders.
Oh God, please.
Listen to me for a minute. And what he gave credit? Shut up for a minute. Well, you know what he gave good credit to? He gave good credit to a bunch of coaches in his life, including when he was a little kid playing right on through. But he gave a lot of credit to Bobby Bowden, and he gave a lot of credit to Mickey Andrews. He said Mickey Andrews was one of the toughest guys ever to coach me, but he made me good. Mickey Andrews could not coach in today's kids because it's a different type of kid, okay, that you have to handle. The question is some of our older coaches like an Odell Haggins, can he still coach that the way he does? In fact, even Deion said, I'm an old school guy. I don't know if old school will work, but you can still adapt to the newer kids that we're bringing in. So that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for that Deion story. I love hearing his name constantly. But I
don't know why you hate him so much.
I don't, because all he does is talk about himself, and I'm tired of hearing about it. A couple of things here, a couple of comments I want to catch up on.
As long as he backs it up.
Stacey, we appreciate your comment there. We love having you here. A couple of things here. Do you guys think Pittman's going to be stuck?
What was the other one? I didn't even get to read it. Put it back up, Stacey.
You need to work on your reading comprehension.
Yeah, leave these good ones up. Yeah, you talking about me, the old man?
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Stacey. Thanks.
Do you guys think Pittman's going to be stuck on special teams because Bell's going to take a lot of the snaps away with Winston Wright? I think Jaheim Bell is going to be a nice wrinkle in this offense, especially with tight ends. It's great to see Marquise and Douglas step up when he knows there's going to be competition here. I think if Mark Houston gets his body right, you can tell he's a big body that just needs to get, I think
he showed he had a career night tonight.
If he can get in shape too, I think Mark Houston's going to get further in shape.
Why do you think he's not in shape?
I think he's a big dude.
He's just a big dude, man.
I think he can get further.
Get in the ball.
I think he can get further in shape and round out. He can be added to that room with Jaheim Bell coming in, who's a
you got that guy. Who's the other guy? The 6'7" guy coming out of FCS.
Yeah, the guy from Shorter. But I think you're going to have three talented guys there, and you're going to have true weapons. So I don't know. I don't think Pittman will ever just be stuck on special teams. They'll always find something for him to do. But I think it's a good question. I'm excited for the tight end room.
Well, you know what? Let's say something. If Pittman were just to be stuck at punt receiver, I know he wouldn't like that. But the way he took that worry away from this team this year.
He wouldn't be happy just to be on special teams.
I'm not saying he would be happy. I would be happy. Coach Norvell would be. Coach Norvell would be happy because we didn't put the ball on the ground like the year before, which was a disaster.
True.
Remember the year before, nobody would want to catch the ball. They just let it bounce around.
It was ridiculous. Rob Bose, Span is very talented. Could be special, put the work in.
I don't know.
Rob,
I don't think there's any room.
You, but is he willing to put the work in? I hope so.
Well, how can you run the wrong route? And Travis called him out on the field on that, and he should. Yeah. Travis has become the Tom Brady now, which gives him credibility to call people out. He can call you out and say, dude, what the hell are you doing? You're running the wrong route.
Guys,
or he can call out his offensive lineman and go to them and say, this ain't getting it. This ain't getting it. Okay.
He's the captain. He better do that.
He is the captain.
Guys, don't forget Destin Hill's coming as well.
Destin Hill's coming.
Don't
Akeem.
He's trolling you. He's trolling you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought he signed.
No.
I thought Destin Hill signed.
You also thought what's his name was still on the team and he hasn't been here.
That's not true.
Yeah. B. Riley says it's still going to be very much receiver by committee next year. Hakeem will be the future well-rounded number one in future years. Until then, it's going to be different guys, different skill sets stepping up. I think that's probably the right way to think about it. It's going to be, like you said, receiver by committee until Hakeem rounds out in a year or two. And
does Hakeem run back kickoffs or anything? Not that you see many run back anymore.
I don't know about that for sure. I don't think you want him to if he's going to be your number one receiver. I think you'll have other guys that want that role. So,
I don't think he's going to be the number one receiver next year. I don't see that.
He said when he's going to develop into that.
Okay, what does Matt Abbott have to say here?
FSU is the worst 9-3 number 13 team I can remember.
Matt, are you from Oklahoma? Come on now.
And to be clear, we're 10-3. So
10-3. Matt, you forgot the win over Oklahoma. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I don't think that this is a bad 10-3 team. I think it's a team that could have maybe even been 11-3, or could have been 8-4.
11-3. They would have to be 11-2.
No, I'm sorry, 11-2. This team was on the brink of some games both ways, and so I think we've summed it up. Average plus team that played to their full potential for the most part, and we're trying to build a program here. It's not easy to build a program.
Stacy, I hope Hakeem doesn't become Fred Rouse. I really hope that.
Fred Rouse.
I hope that's not the case, man.
I remember Fred Rouse.
Yeah, what did he have? All time was like 90 yards for Florida State. I don't know. I hope that's not the case.
Who was the guy we had? George, and he went to Penn State. He transferred.
Wilson.
George.
No, it wasn't George Wilson.
He was from Tarpon Springs,
Florida. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
He came out as a 5-star, and he was injured a lot. He was.
Yeah,
I can't remember saying. Nice guy. Nice guy.
Appreciate the support, Alex. We appreciate you, and we hope to see you back for future videos.
We're going to be around. We're going to have at least what we're going to do. Hey, by the way, we tell them we got a new intern coming in. It's going to be working with us on basketball too. So we're going to be adding more basketball coverage.
Yeah,
we're going to be reporting on football too.
If you want to see coverage of a 15 basketball team.
No, KB is like, nobody cares about basketball. I don't think that's true. Okay. I care about basketball, and KB does too. He's just trying to be smart, but we're bringing in an intern. This guy knows basketball. And I think he's a young guy, but he's going to be doing some basketball stuff for us, and we're going to be doing football as football's an all year sport now. It's all year, but we'll do some stuff on baseball, soccer, and
all right. Well, let's not overpromise. Mike, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you. Always, Sooners fans are always welcome. And don't worry about your age. The old man's 95, so you will never be the oldest one in the room. So
Hey, Mike, what a great game. I don't know if you were at the stadium or watching on TV. Sooners showed up. They're a great brand. I've been out to University of Oklahoma on several occasions years ago. I love visiting the university. The people are great. They have a big weather station there. If you know, they have this huge weather station that tracks all the tornadoes. It's awesome. And their public access football place is really good there. They're really, really a good fan base.
Really very right about you. Too much back in the day, starting to sound like Miami.
Oh, B. Riley,
you are. B.
Riley, I'm the only guy that know back in the days. That
is very, very accurate. When you can go back 90 years, B. Riley, there is.
B. Riley, I've been on the roller coaster ride, baby. I've been on the roller coaster ride.
Mickey is the reason why they invented the spread. Can you verify that? Mickey
Andrews was a hell of a coach. He's a hell. You got to go back and watch tapes of him on the sideline. There's nothing better. 6 tight ends. Can you imagine if we had Douglas in the game at the same time? We had the 2 new guys coming in at the same
Morlock
time.
and Jaheim Bell.
And you know what? Wasn't it great to see what's his name? Brian from Ashburn, Virginia.
Brian Courtney with that catch. That catch was great.
He just made his season.
Tight end to tight end. Tight end to tight end.
Those 2 points. Those 2 points are the big difference, you know?
Well, yeah, it helped you. Well, yeah, made a 3-point game.
But Brian Courtney, you know, it's great to see him in action. You know, he's a quarterback, linebacker, tight end, true freshman. I hope he finds a role on this team. He played a lot of special teams. There's so many guys on this team that, you know, and that's what the team is you make your contribution. Make your contribution, how small, how big it may be. And that's what this was, a good team. There was no crap coming into the locker room or off the field incidents. And that's a big, big deal for this program.
Yeah, and B. Riley agrees with me. Yeah, that Douglas needs to shed a couple pounds, 10 pounds here or there. But yeah, with him and
Murdoch, yeah. Kyle Murdoch
on the 2 goal line set with Jaheim and Johnny. A lot of size.
It could be unbelievable.
It could be really fun because Jaheim you can use as a running back. They use him as a running back at South Carolina as well as a tight end. So you can bang him in between the tackles as well as catch.
But the guy we need, I hope they're looking for out there, is a guy who can operate within let's say the 5-yard line. The banger, you know, the big guy that can bang out straight up the middle.
Okay, you say that, but we still need an offensive line that gets a push. The offensive line didn't get a push.
You can't, but you need a guy bigger than Ward or Benson. You need a banger inside.
We have DJ Lundy, and
he's not big enough.
If you don't get any push in the line, guys don't just run over 300-pound linemen anymore.
Maybe Blake Nicholson will get a shot.
Maybe that's true. I think all our tight ends can pretty much. A lot of them can. Look at the Brian Courtney can catch.
Cam McDonald had a nasty drop.
No offense to Cam, he's been a great ambassador to the program.
But he can't catch.
It's good. That's why you're bringing in new tight ends because of that drop right there.
That dropped his NFL stuff too a little bit.
I think he's going to be doing something other than the NFL.
He didn't. That one catch we thought, who was it? We had a receiver downfield, and the defensive back made a really good play on it. Was that Malik? Who was that? There was a great play on the ball.
I think it's Malik.
Because everybody thought he should have caught the ball. It was a deep ball.
I think that was Malik.
Oh, no, it was Malik McLean. It was it looked like a drop, but actually the defensive back got his hand up in there.
It was a great play by the DB there. George Campbell. That was it. George Campbell.
George Campbell from Tarpon Springs.
Five-star who came in.
Thank you, Malik Prince. Thank you. Yeah, it was George Campbell.
You're like, this is going to be the year, George.
And he didn't do anything at Penn State. He just kind of fizzled out. Nice guy.
Sad. Yeah, it was sad.
He had injuries. It's
going to be the year. Yeah.
I don't know why the hell he went to Penn State to play in that cold weather. Who the hell wants to do that?
I mean, get away from the Jimbo Fisher program. I don't blame him. What's FSU's basketball record? Dude,
the last time I looked, it was like 4-9, maybe 5-9.
It's sad.
But hey, listen, my guy's coming. Our intern's coming. I recruited this guy, especially KB said we'll give him a look. But I think he'll do good. And we want you guys to hang in there when we run up a show. We'll be talking about stuff.
They're 4-10, but they're fourth in the ACC. They're 2-1 in the ACC.
The first show is going to have a lot of questions about Coach Ham. Is it time? Nice guy. Is he and Odell Hagen's,
Dagby, no Matrix night. We're going overtime. We don't have any remaining bowl games. We may do a special show on remaining bowl game. We don't have the Matrix up tonight.
Hey, there's going to be some good games this weekend.
Yeah, there are going to be some good games this weekend. B-Riley says Morlock, Bell, Biscuit can all catch. They have a bit different than the way they play tight end, which is Courtney also has a ton of potential.
Yeah.
He can add pounds.
You're right.
QB. So totally agree. I think we went from having a tight end room that had zero upside to one that has a ton of upside because you have guys that can make an immediate impact that have eligibility. A player that has, I think, 2 years with Morlock Morlock has 2 years of eligibility. Bell has 1 year, maybe 2 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. Courtney has 4 years of eligibility. Who, if he can transform his body, has a lot of potential. And then Douglas has 2+ years, so you have a lot of upside in that room now, which is exciting. Really
it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting for sure.
I do not think he'll be like Fred Rouse. Mike Norvell's offense made for playmakers, and Hakeem's playmaker. I think, Rock, you're right. It's all about buy-in. If Hakeem could focus, I didn't like the Travis Hunter back and forth stuff, and I think you come into this program, you just focus down. Don't get into the social media hype and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was kind of funny stuff.
I don't get into. I hate that stuff. I get it. But I hate that stuff. Hakeem,
well, he's having his fun now.
I get it. Like, he's a kid, but at the same time, come in. He's got a lot of hype on his shoulders. Come in to the pro, enroll when you're ready. Enroll.
Well, the family,
get connected to Travis, work with him, and you will be great.
The family will call him out. The family will take him in under their wing, and they'll tell him how to be successful at this level, and with the ultimate goal of going to the next level, and what that's going to take. The focus it's going to require. That's how it goes down. That's how it goes down.
Yeah, Rock, to answer your question, I think B. Riley kind of answered it there. Norvell loves that fullback, that two-way fullback set. And he's not, to answer the old man's point, he's not going to add that big bruiser running back Mike Allstott for short yardage. It's going to be more, how can they utilize a fullback set, right? To block in front of them. So,
Christ, there's got to be a kid out there somewhere in this country that will come in here, even if not on scholarship, that he'll come in here as a preferred walk-in just to run that football from 5 yards in.
But you saw it once, right? When they ran the Wildcat with Ward and Lundy.
No, I know, but that's not the guy I want. We got those guys. I want that guy, the banger. I want the goon. In hockey, they have a guy called the goon. He just goes in to wreak havoc for a short period of time. You're just throwing around
scholarships all over the place tonight. Kickers, goons. I don't know what the hell is going on. Apalachicola. I feel like we played. I don't necessarily
soft.
I think early on.
No, wait a minute. You mean in the defensive backfield we played soft? What does that mean?
Can he say the defensive backfield?
I really feel like we played really soft. Oh, you mean?
I think we played soft tonight.
Yeah, I don't think we were as aggressive as Oklahoma.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I definitely agree with that.
I was surprised Oklahoma's defense. We talked about the other night that their numbers on defense were horrible this year, especially when Coach Brent Venables is a defensive career guy.
I think they stopped the running game more than we thought.
I thought they were really good on defense for the most part. What does that say?
Oh, so that's interesting. So, obviously we're bringing in 3 new offensive linemen. And B. Riley was talking to Rock about, that was the plan, bringing in Roddick to bring a bigger center in.
That was the guy from Colorado.
Yeah. But there's some chatter that he may not be coming. Perhaps he doesn't want to play center, but we need a center over 300 pounds. Don't think Smith can get there. So, B. Riley, do you want to elaborate? So is Casey not planning on signing and coming, or is that – I hadn't heard that. So if you have any more information on Casey not signing and coming from Colorado, that'd be interesting.
I haven't heard that. Yeah, we need that guy. He can also play something beyond center. We're going to have some openings on that line, and they said he had versatility beyond that. I would be surprised he's not coming in. That would shock me. Because the coaches have talked about it. I haven't heard anything about Caden Lyles.
Nothing. B. Riley or anyone. Do you guys have thoughts about Caden Lyles? Is he going to be back from that injury next year? Does he have eligibility?
Coach says nothing. Coach says nothing.
Okay, well, does he get an injury waiver? I assume he get an injury waiver.
Oh, of course he will. Of course he will.
Does he fill in that spot to play center?
But if the injury was so severe, he might be done.
Yeah, he may be done. And Rock, this was my favorite signing. I said before you inside Jaheim, watching him play against Clemson, I'm so excited about Jaheim. I think he'll be a go-to receiver. I think he's built for this Norvell offense. So I'm so excited about Jaheim.
Well, here's the deal. If the ball isn't being thrown his way or given him so many targets a game, he's going to get upset.
What are you basing that off of? You can't just say something like that.
I'm just saying. He better be a factor in the offense because that's why he's coming here. He's coming here to hone that final. How many years does he have left? 1, 2?
1 or 2.
Okay, he probably wants to be a 1-year guy and then going on to the next level. So he's coming in here to catch footballs. He's not coming in here just to block people. So
that's why receivers typically transfer.
This offense will be supercharged. Period.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's the defense that we need to really hone, and the offensive line.
Hey, Kyle, thanks for coming by. Appreciate Sooner Sands coming by. Congrats. You guys played lights out as well. Close game. So both sides.
Kyle,
you guys have a great future next year.
Yeah, always welcome back. You guys got some really talented guys on there.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be moving over to the SEC, not next year, or in 2024, I think it is. You guys got some talent there. It was a hell of a game. Hell of a game.
You're right. B. Rice says Rock Fair should definitely a solution for the sure-handed guy. You're right. That he can go anywhere from inline to out wide, mismatch nightmare motion, dragging a linebacker in the coverage. Yeah, totally agree with that. Rock Fair says I think Maurice Smith is too small and not strong enough for the short yards. He gets pushed back. I would tend to agree.
He's not the only guy that gets pushed back.
Yeah, that's also true. Rob scrubbed his Twitter of FSU stuff, including his commitment. Oh, well, that's a breaking news for me.
I wonder if Sanders has flipped him back. Where else would he go?
That's good breaking news there. That's damn, that sucks. That would really
that sucks. That hurts. That means we got to go back out and find a guy. He was one of the top rated offensive linemen out there. I wonder if Sanders has flipped him either with NIL or just bringing his bling to him. That's interesting. We're going to have to look into that a little bit more. But B. Riley's got maybe some breaking news there. I haven't seen anything this week, B. Riley, on that at all.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
That's more than disappointing. That means we got to go find somebody.
Yeah, he's not the top. I mean, the two other guys they got are rated higher than him, but it filled a need.
This guy had a lot of snaps, though. Don't think like this guy hasn't been playing football.
He was also on the 1-11 team. So it's not like he was that dominant player on the dominant team. But he filled a hole, like you said. He had a ton of experience. He was a captain on that team. So he was going to bring leadership and experience.
Right.
So it's definitely a loss.
Well, maybe there's some room there. We'll figure it out. B. Riley, if you see anything else on that, shoot us a note on Twitter or something. Shoot us a note. You guys, anybody out there listening to us, our viewers or supporters, if you got any stuff, just shoot it to us on Twitter too. I'm always on there.
They said, Rock says, I think Lyles is going to coaching. And then B. Riley follows up. Lyles done. He's going to be focused on coaching and learning under Atkins. He gave an interview that he hopes to grab a GA position. Translating to aeronautical engineering program. Okay, so thank you, Rock, for your note there.
Thank you.
Thank you, B. Riley, for your follow up there. That's interesting for that news there. So wish him luck. That's great that he's focusing on his life after football and both getting a degree and then also a GA position. So that's awesome for him. And then Appalachian, I'm excited that we won, and do want to say that. So we're glad we won
excited too.
Wasn't pretty, but sometimes it doesn't have to be pretty to get the job done. And I think, like we talked about, you saw Brian Courtney, a true freshman, scoring a great 2-point conversion play.
Contribution,
and you saw how many players here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 8+ players touching the ball on Florida State's offensive side. That's attractive. What, A, for recruiting, B, for transfers. We're trying to bring into this playmaking offense. And you saw some defensive players step up at the end there. So overall, you showed off that you have a dynamic offense. This makes it easier for recruiting next year. And this is what this bowl game is about. We talked about this last show. This bowl game is about more practices to develop your younger high school talent. Developing your team for next year. B, it's also great for recruiting. It's more the game tape to say this is the type of team we're trying to build. We're trying to build a dynamic offense. We need playmakers for it. Also, it shows off what holes we're trying to fill on our defense, where we have deficiencies, whether it's in the transfer portal or it's on the defensive side. You see this hole in our defensive backfield. This is where we want to fill you with high school recruit. This is where you're going to go into. This is why we develop you. This is why we want you. And you got to show this in prime time on ESPN against a big brand like Oklahoma. So I think this was a win-win for Florida State. You got to bring the team together, get some great tape.
Plus, it's a reward for the team for the season, all the work they put in to go out, have a little fun, get around to some of the things in Orlando, which is nice. They get some swag bag stuff. And they get to interact with the other team too, and the community. They're interacting with the community. They're working with some underprivileged children's groups. You know, this is the heart of college football.
Yeah,
I love college football, and it's good. It's been a great season. It's been a great season.
And Rock, you bring up a good point. When Mike Norvell doesn't get his guy in the portal, he finds an even better one. So you're right. I expect Mike. If Mike does one thing well, he does the portal well, and if he doesn't get Casey, I assume he has a backup plan. He's already hitting the phone.
No doubt.
Or
no
going
doubt.
to find another guy. So I expect him to be prepared to find another person in that portal. And there's already been rumors that there's been some tampering by Florida. The rumors, like I said, that Florida State is stepping up the recruiting game, very much so, whether it be NIL, whether it be talking to recruits before they go into the recruit portal, all rumors. But I think they're in it to win it now. You got your 10 wins. You're trying to go. You're going for an ACC championship next year. You think you're ready to compete for it. So I think they're all in for it.
Well, this is a brand, Florida State, and I've been around this program than longer than most people out here have been. This is a brand. This is a brand that deserves and expects 9, 10, 11 wins per season, fighting for championships, including now with the opportunity of expanded playoffs to get this team built over the next 2 years. But unfortunately, I wish the expanded playoffs were next year, because we're going to have a very experienced and elite quarterback, Jordan Travis, on this ball team with a full bag of weapons.
Yeah.
When it goes to 2024, it's going to be a little bit different run. I would say this. I would venture to say this, and I know that we're getting lengthy here, and we're about done for the evening.
Wrap it up here.
We're going to wrap it up.
Everyone can go watch other games, go to bed.
Yeah, but listen. If Jordan Travis all of a sudden decided to leave, you don't think Mike Norvell would be looking for a quarterback in that portal?
He would have already signed one.
You damn right he would have.
He would have gotten Sam Hartman or someone like that.
He would have gone for another quarterback. And in 2024, there's a real potential he'll go to the portal for a quarterback.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you have to use the tools that are available, because then the next run will be for those expanded playoffs. And Florida State is a brand that you expect to be in those playoffs.
Absolutely. Totally. Johnny Johns, appreciate you coming by. Much respect to Oklahoma.
Great fans, Johnny.
Great game.
Yeah.
Great respect to your fans for showing up to the game today.
Yeah, and Oklahoma fans are really good people.
And like I said before, if we were to match up against anyone in the bowl, I'm glad it was you guys. A great brand like y'all's, a great rivalry. In regards to the games we played against you guys earlier in the 2000s, I think it's always a fun time.
Oh, yeah. Johnny, and I told this story when I walked into your championship trophy room there by the stadium, if you know where it is. The first thing I saw was a video playing of I think it was the 2000 game when you guys beat us in the championship game there. That was sad for me to see, but you guys have a great room there to look around, and it's a great university.
Yeah. And then B. Riley says, I'm not really worried about the O-line. There will be some serious options after the playoffs. Byers and Jones are both higher ceiling guys. Totally agree with you on that, B. Riley. I think those are two great guys that we locked up early. Trying to move Roddick, a 4-year offensive guard, to center might not have fit. I think that's a great comment there. You got two guys that we really needed, high talent guys early on. You locked them up. And they both have, I believe, multiple years of eligibility. And the last guy who were trying to swing over to center probably wasn't the best fit for him or us, like you said. So, like you said, I think that's someone you can find potentially deeper into the portal as days go on. So, I think that's a great comment there, B. Riley.
And let us remind everybody that this has been a great season. I'm speaking for myself and KB. I think we've had a great time. This is our first season of doing this. We love college football, and we love the Noles. Okay, we just do. And it's been great interacting with everybody. And we're going to continue this. This is not going away. We don't do this for money. We do it for fun. We do it for the engagement with our fan base, to allow you guys to come on here and throw questions. And if I could get a phone system in here, I'll be taking your phone calls. We want to put your voice on the air if you want that. So we're going to be working on a number of things. So we appreciate you guys hanging in here with us and giving us a break. And we've just had a good time doing it.
Yeah, no, well said. And like I said, if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell, get a notification for our next show, whether it's basketball, another bowl game special, something like that. We'd love to have you guys come by. We love the interaction. We love to put your comments up. We love to chat with you. Like I said, this is a fan-run independent show. There's no sponsors. We do this for you guys. We do it for ourselves because we love just discussing Florida State and everything about it. And we love having rival fans come across.
Yeah, we'll love this. I love this.
We love having Oklahoma fans, and wherever you guys are, we love having you guys on board. And that's what makes it fun. So whether we're playing LSU or whether we're playing whoever next season, we love having you guys by.
And one of the things, KB, I think we enjoy too is bringing on commentators from the opposing areas, the opposing schools or beat reporters, bringing them on the program. I hope you guys enjoyed that too, because we're planning to do more of that, to bring on guests that can give us a look.
And if you guys ever have suggestions on who we should bring on, special guests, commentators, stuff like that, hit us up on Twitter. And I'll put our Twitter handle up here real quick. I've had it up for a little while here. That's our Twitter right there. Follow. I don't tweet from it a lot. The old man does. He's got a lot of time on his hands. He's retired. A lot of time on his hands. So go ahead and follow him there. DM him. If you want to come on the show sometime, or if you have suggestions of people we should have on, DM him on there. He's got a lot of time.
I think
I agree. Division-less ACC next year is going to be interesting. That could be a whole show on its own, looking at the schedule of division-less ACC, especially if we can beat LSU, to your point, next season. That's going to be, once again, first game of the season, it's going to be a big test. If we can win that game, we can make a big run next year, and then the playoffs after that. So that's a great comment. I think that could be a whole other discussion for next year.
And I'm trying to find out if there's any truth to the rumor that KB's trying to replace me. I think that's a false rumor. If anybody has any information, let me know.
All right. And Kyle, I hope we're in the playoffs next year. I don't like to set expectations too high, but we hope to see you guys there. Hope to see you guys there.
Well, you have to have high expectations. No football team. Listen, no football coach doesn't have expectations.
Right. I don't like having high.
We should have an expectation to play in the ACC championship game and win it. You don't say, well, our expectation is to make the game but lose. I mean, that makes no sense, KB.
All right. Well,
you can. This program has high expectations.
All right. Well, Dag, maybe you can get Fred Rouse. If you can find Fred Rouse's information, we can have him on the show. That would be great. That would be a great person to have on the show.
Danny Cannell. Maybe we'll bring Danny on.
He's too big for our show. Maybe
but we're not bringing on Pat McAfee.
Okay, all right. Well, that's another topic. Old man doesn't get Pat McAfee. He doesn't understand him.
Yes, I do.
Right, everybody.
I made one statement, and everybody's like, "Oh, you don't even know who Pat McAfee." Oh, you know.
I have to educate him. All right. Well, everyone, it's been a great show tonight. Once again, final score 35-32. Florida State survives Oklahoma and the Sooners in Orlando. It's been a great year, but it's not over yet. Like I said, we're going to have shows probably over the course of the next couple of months. Whether it's recruiting, transfer portal, basketball. We'll be here to do some breaking news, whether live shows or some on-demand quick hits. Be sure to click the bell so you get notifications, subscribe, like.
Yeah, please.
So that you can join in on the conversation and follow us on Twitter because, like I said, the old man's always doing some rants about Florida State and you'll probably disagree with him, so you can leave your comments there for him live and in person. So once again, guys, we appreciate y'all's support. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.
What time is it?
We're not even on the weekend yet. It feels like it. So, guys, have a great new year. If we don't hear from you before then, take care, and we'll see you soon. Stay safe, everyone.
Be safe out there.
Go Noles.
Go Noles.